Ooh, did you hear that truck driving away? Welcome, 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 beautiful souls. Blessed Lionsgate Portal Eve. Today in real time is August 7th, 2024. And I added those numbers together and it came out to the number 23. And if you add those numbers together, it comes out to the number 5. And 5 is about change, transformation. It's about tipping the scales to the other side. Oh, I want so much to share with you, but I really want to dive into these readings. So, I'm going to present the feathers, and if they have me speak any further about the Lionsgate portal or anything like that, I will continue. If not, please go right to the description box or the comments and click on the reading that you are interested in. There are going to be 3 readings today that are separate readings, and then at the end we're going to have a bonus collective reading. So number 4 will be the bonus collective reading. So jumping in, I want you to take a look at this. Now, as you know, I'm a good old-fashioned gypsy witch. I like to be hippie. I live off grid, so I don't have fancy software, fancy lighting, so I do my best to make it magical for you. And before you is our fun little altar celebrating the Lionsgate portal. And when this was coming together, I was really drawn to use feathers. And of course, I live in a place where unfortunately there's a lot of traffic, so I apologize for that. Take it for whatever it is in your energy field. But it is a summer day, and yeah, so my windows and doors are open. Okay, but getting back to this. Okay, so we have, or I should say you have before you 3 different feathers, okay? So we have feather 1, feather 2, and feather 3. I don't know if you've noticed the feathers right away. Maybe you saw it, but you weren't sure what it was. Whichever feather you saw first, or whichever one you were drawn to first, most likely is your medicine. Because this is such an open-ended messages from the Lionsgate portal, so much is going to come through. Because let me tell you something, I have laughed, I have cried, I've had so much fun setting this up. I've already been, it's like, you know, when you're getting ready for a party, and I was like, that's exactly what this is. Isis wanted to come in. This is a party. I felt the heavy Egyptian energy. I felt it. I can feel the portal. I can feel so much. And so much has been happening in my human avatar, third dimensional world. And I promise you when it's time, I will share it with you on Lula's life. But right now, I'm just going to say that I'm sure you're going through what I'm going through, all the new energy of the new moon with the fire, but then we have Mercury in retrograde, and then we've got the Lionsgate portal, and we have the year of the dragon. We have 888, 3 8s. I mean, 3 lines of infinity. It doesn't get any better, right? It's like, that's it. That's it. It's like, woo! And the dragon, the year of the dragon, you know what I mean? Like, there are no accidents. There are no accidents. There's a reason why for years I kept saying the Dragonsgate portal, and either it was like when I was alive and somebody would say Lionsgate portal, I'm like, oh yeah, thanks, you know, or if I was doing a reading on that day or whatever, but I kept slipping when I would talk about it, and then I realized I wasn't slipping at all. There's definitely a connection there. So it basically, if you're not familiar with it, oh, also they wanted me to show you the bonus feather. For those of you who are interested, this is the bonus feather. And yeah, so what happens is that Sirius, which is the very biggest star in our solar system, Sirius, Earth, and the Sun, however, sorry, I don't know which direction, but they align together, right? That's what the portal is. They align together, bringing the most powerful, magical light, that they're just like pouring light like into our energy field. And it's just, especially now with this 888, it's just like abundance, 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 abundance. And also, this is a party for you. If you have found yourself here, you are a powerful light worker, you are a powerful magician, you are a powerful starseed, whatever you align with, witch, healer, deep down believer in magic, whatever it is, Egyptian, you know what I mean? Like, we are really realizing that we are one. We are one universe. We are not just this planet and we are going to go and rule. You know, it's like that old saying, just because you can doesn't mean you should. And so we are in a whole new world. We're in a whole new bracket. We're in a whole new place. And this portal is really going to filter in. I mean, I was just thinking, when they were showing me all this light pouring in, I was just thinking of all the littles that'll be born tomorrow. You know, like, who are they? Who are they gonna be? If you're born on 888, can you imagine? Oh, I bet there'll be at least one baby that'll probably, like, you know, be born on like at 8:08, you know, a.m. or something. You know what I mean? That's so interesting. So that's basically all I really wanted to say. Spirit, do you want to say anything else? Oh, they just wanted to say, I feel like we're going to do a healing. So I don't know if that bonus reading is going to be on here or if it's going to be with a healing for the tribe. So I'm not really sure. If it's not at the end of this, then you know what I mean? Like, as of this moment, I don't know, because I'm going, you know more than I do. I always laugh when I say that, because it's true, because at this point, you know more than I do. But all of a sudden, I just got a visual for that, because I felt like they wanted me to do a deep healing with you guys today. But now I'm starting to think that I feel like they want me to do something else with that, because I have other plans. I don't want to say what yet, but I have some magical plans happening for the Lionsgate portal. And basically, yeah, so stay tuned for that. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, support this channel in any way you can. I am so grateful for all that you guys do. Thank you so much. All of my information is in the description box and it's in the comments. So I will bid you adieu. We will talk more later. Yeah, I'm getting a really strong feeling. I feel like that bonus reading is going to be a reading for the tribe and a cleansing and a clearing of some kind. Okay, so stay tuned for that. It may have me do it on this video. I don't know. Like I said, you know more than I do right now, but all of a sudden I started to be like, I'm like, it kind of was tying in with tomorrow's plan, so I'm like, I don't know. So they could be crossing each other though, because literally we're already in it. It's like every moment I'm doing this reading with you guys, like literally every second that goes and moves forward is getting closer to the portal being completely like, right? Because it's been open since the 26th of July and it will be here till August 12th, but we are in like the pinnacle of it where it's like magic, 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 magic. So wherever you are, I pray, if you're watching this on the Lionsgate portal, I pray with everything that is holy that you do something really sacred and beautiful for yourself. And if not in this divine, in the next, like, you know, 24 hours that you see this, okay? And whenever you watch this, it's timeless. Of course, the messages will always be the same, but the energy I'm ingesting into it, or injecting into it, but ingesting too, right? Yeah, because I did that too before. Yeah, like before this started, I've been like cleansing and clearing out for you guys. There's a lot of heavy stuff, a lot of heavy energy. I feel like there's a lot of darkness that's been coming back. I know, you know, for myself and my family, like we were just pushing the light, pushing the light, pushing the light, working super hard. And then like this really crazy, like intense, like darkness came our way and just like tried to, you know, put out our fire. And we were just like, no, it was like, you know, my third deacon's in Leo. So I just, when it happened, I just was like, roar, like a lion. And I just roared back and was like, enough. Like, I've endured and put up with this behavior and this bullying, and I'm like, I am done. I set my boundaries. And sometimes we have to set our boundaries when it's not so comfortable. We have to do things, you know, even with love, you know. I mean, I cried and sent it love and was like, hey, like, whatever, why is this, you know, what is this lesson? And now that I've worked through the lesson, I realized like it really needed to go down that way, and it's unfortunate, you know, but there were signs, and I gave chance after chance after chance after chance after chance after chance, and then, you know, after a while it's just like, you know what, I don't care, you know, even as fellow light workers and fellow angel spirits, right? Like, we still cannot go from our ego, which drives me to this. So these are the decks we're going to be working with today. The archetypes, and the answer is simple. The answer is simple. Looks all, isn't it cute? Like, it looks all light and fluffy and like, oh, cute birds, like, here's flower, I love you. But this is a kick in the pants. It's got great imagery because I think it helps people bring, you know, go back to like the lightness of their heart. But every single message in here is very, very strong and very severe. So I feel like this is our ego, you know, and it makes sense because we love Leos, right? Like, Leo, there's a gazillion reasons why I love the Leo energy and love Leos in general. Like, anyway, I can go on and on. But, you know, they are the sun. They're literally the sun. The sunflower is their flower. The sun is their, you know what I mean? So this is a very intense energy for us to go through. I mean, the sun right now is having solar flares like crazy. It's almost as if we've been having this celebration. You know, the solar flares are like fireworks from spirit. It's like they're saying like, we're here, you guys, we're here. Like, don't, you know, like they've been letting us know like, we're coming, we're coming, we're coming. They're like, we've just been waiting for this portal to open, right? Because it is like a video game, right? It's like there's only certain times where, you know, things are going to happen a certain way. So this is pure magic energy that we're dealing with here. Pure magic energy, right? Look at this. What does this say? I feel like I always knew it. And then, of course, now I'm trying to read it upside down and I don't want to burn my hair. But I want to make sure I say it right. Yes, accept all, reject none. Oh, accept all, reject none. Yes, because what had happened was this energy, I was like, I didn't want to be that way, but I was like, you know, you get to a point where you can say something over and over and over and over. But sometimes even with a child, right, you have to get stern and be like, you know, this is not a punishment, but it's definitely like, okay, enough is enough. You're done. You're done. So there is something that's going on the planet right now where this darkness is trying to push its way through, and it's feeding our ego, and it's feeding, and the fear is tied into the ego, so it's feeding our fear. So this thing that happened, this fear was injected into our lives, this threat and this fear was injected into our lives, and I was like, whoa, what is going on? But the snail has also been coming up everywhere. I just took another video of a snail. I mean, they have just been everywhere. And they wanted me to put this here, and I said, why? You know, and they're like, because right now the earth is slow to love. Okay? So we're going to talk about that more in the group reading. So if it ends up being not on this reading and it ends up being another reading, I will put a link below. Okay? So without further ado, so much is coming through. Exactly. So I'm so excited. So was it Feather 1? Were you drawn to Feather 1? You know, some of you like to watch all of them because you're like, they're just so powerful. And I'm like, yeah, you know, whatever calls to you, because it's messages from the Lionsgate, the messages we need to hear from the Lionsgate portal. So there's 1. Then we have 2. This one is so, I mean, they're all beautiful. But this one was so cool. It just like dropped right in my, anyway, so that's 2. This is the bonus one. Oh, look at that. The bonus one's connected to 2. So I feel like 2, maybe 2, if you were drawn to 2, you probably want to watch the bonus too. So I'll put the bonus over here for later. We'll keep 2 there. And then number 3. I wanted to bring number 3 out because it's completely different. And I'm not going to say the birds because I feel like that may deter you. It's more about which one is calling you, like which one are you feeling connected to. And like I said, it could be all 3. So with that being said, I love you, I love you, I love you. Like I said, all of my stuff is on this channel, and feel free to head over to my other channels too, Lula's Life and Baba the Great. It's really Baba's her own channel, but I am the human that is, you know, pushing the buttons for her, but it is really her, and we do create the videos together. They're super fun. But yeah, so all together, our family, we have 3 channels right now, and I know that my husband is also he's been milling around something about his own channel, and if he gets one, I promise I will put a link below because he works with plant medicines and healing energies, so the healing energies of the earth. So that's it. All right, you guys, until next time, take good care of yourselves and each other. Blessed 888 portal, and I'll see you next time. Also, they're saying, think of this exactly like that, like when I said Christmas Eve. It's like this is a celebration of every celebration. Most light workers feel like this is even bigger than Samhain, because Samhain is beautiful, right? Because the ancestors, you know, we have that connection between, it's like all the veils are thin between all worlds. However, this is a completely different experience. This is a gateway and a portal that's connecting us to the heavens. That's connecting us to like every light source, love, you know. So drink it in, take it in, celebrate it with your loved ones, by yourself, whatever feels good. If you can, go in nature, really connect and be that pinpoint for Gaia. All I ask is stay in the highest vibration that you possibly can. All right, you guys, I'll see you over at your readings. I'm just so excited, and I'm not going to apologize it, right? I'm so excited, and I just can't hide it. I know, I know, I know, I know, I know, I love you, bye. Welcome, reading one. Oh my gosh, I just heard that song from the theme song from Home Alone. Do, 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 do. Like I can like hear it, and I feel like this is spirit talking to you, and my eyes went right to the love and right to the snail. So if you were drawn to the bonus reading, I highly suggest you go and see it. I don't know if at this point, because it's live to me, right? So I don't know at this point if the bonus reading is going to be on here or if it'll be a link below. So if you are drawn to the bonus reading, go check it out. But I feel like it's going to be a message. It's during the Lionsgate portal. That's all I'm going to say. And I feel like it's a message for the collective. So if you're drawn to that, please go over there. Also, I just want to tell you, I love you so much. And that's what I feel like from Spirit. I feel like they're saying, all of your hard work, thank you. Like, I'm getting this massive gratitude, and I feel like that's what this is going to be about too. I'm just feeling like this massive gratitude from Spirit to all of us. Just like this, thank you, 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 thank you. You know, I almost want to come down a little bit so you guys can like even get a closer look. You know, this is them saying thank you for all of the hard work that you did. Look at this, because you accepted all and rejected none. Now, the one thing that we are really getting told about right now, or like a talking to, so to speak, is they want us to get stronger with our boundaries. So if you don't go over to this reading, I feel like this may be something that threads through, or it could just be, you know, for you guys, I don't know. But right now I'm just getting this really strong, like, I'm a believer, right? Like, it's because of you. It's because of you. Like, you know, there's just so much going on. I feel like there's just so many voices and there's so many people. Like, I'm not trying to sound like a baby, but there's like a part of me that's like, okay, you guys, like, oh my gosh, but like in a cute way. You like, you know how like when one person goes to hug you, like when you see a team, like right now with the Olympics, right? Like you see a team and then, you know, the other one, they win, and then like the one person like scores the goal or whatever, and then everybody starts to go and hug them. That's what I kind of feel like right now. I feel like that energy where they're like, I'm with you, right? Like, because I'm the medium, so I could feel your energy, and I could feel them all hugging you. I can feel them all loving on you. But oh my gosh, my throat chakra is so tight. So let's get to the bottom of it. I feel like you can go to that reading if you want to, if you're drawn to. But oh my gosh, throat chakra. I'm not sure which deck they want us to. I've got tissue just in case, because some of these readings have been really intense. And when I was getting ready for this, you know, it's like I'm channeling, right? But also it's like I'm human, so I'm experiencing it with you. But my whole body right now just feels like so. It went from like I felt like I was at a party to feeling like stressed out, and it's like it went to the other side of the spectrum. It's like this is like over here is like you, like you're the disco ball, but there's like some darkness going on. But notice how the big amethyst wanted to come in by the black tourmaline, right? And the black tourmaline is very, very protective, but also it's there. It's very ominous looking, right? I mean, it's hard to pick up. This was gifted to me by a very powerful fairy, and at the time I wanted like the pretty sparkly ones, you know, I wanted all the, you know, and she was like, oh no, you need this. And it's been one of my most treasured gifts ever. But this amethyst here, I love it because every time you turn it, it's like there's different languages or different, like, you know, communications coming through. So that's basically what I'm feeling for you guys, is like there's just like this kind of intense, beautiful, heavy, but light, kind of a mixed bag of tricks. So I'm feeling them like hugging you, saying like, congratulations, you did a good job, you know, blah, blah, blah. But then I also feel like they're like, okay, now to the nitty gritty, the medicine, right? Because that's what you came here for. So let's see. The answer is simple, came, and it's funny because I asked Spirit earlier, they have a book that comes with it, and the book can be quite intense. So I was like, are we gonna read from the book today? And I didn't get an answer, and now the book just flew off the couch, and I'm like, okay, there's my answer. And then we may or may not get into the archetypes deck. I don't know. I mean, I will say this. I think it's interesting. I feel like this was the biggest part of it. It was like, because I always go through with my pendulum and make sure that we have everything they want in here. And it's like all of these crystals and stones and this imagery. It's like, this is just showing you like you are connected. We are one. Accept all, reject none. I love it. That's our new mantra. We are one, we are one, accept all, reject none. We are one, accept all, reject none. Okay, so that's like a tongue twister. Plus I'm channeling, I'm like, I can't do it, you can't hold her. When this was getting together, I heard, ooh, right, like that Star Trek, like, I don't know why they're having me like get into the music, but maybe for the sound therapy. Also, I don't know if you hear the gurgling in the background. I have my diffuser on and I've got clary sage and frankincense because there are some dark motherfuckers that have been coming for like everybody. I can feel it. I mean, you can see it everywhere. But you know what's so rad is this heavy energy. Like the Egyptians, they were put there for a reason. The Lemurian starseed came in. Like, I mean, if you look here, there's some really powerful crystals that are here. And all of these crystals that I have were either gifted to me or I was led to them in some way. I have given away a lot of crystals and stones throughout my time being a healer. Like, I can't even tell you. I mean, especially when I do sessions in person, I always let people take whatever they want, whatever they're drawn to. Except for like certain things I'll just put away so they don't feel, awkward about it. But yeah, I mean, even sometimes like this, I had to, but I lovingly and graciously gave this like, probably like $500 or $600, maybe $700 on the market today, amethyst crystal to a very dear friend of mine growing up for her fairy daughters, and she was like a powerful witch. But anyway, long story short, but most of the time, like, I have no problem like giving things away. And that one was given to me, and his name was Percival. Like he had like a whole, like, so many times, like they've had names. I don't know if you guys remember my old apophyllite, Penelope, like just all these like interesting things. But a lot of these other crystals don't necessarily have names. They've just been with me a really long time, and I feel like they're my guardians. They help guide me. So I'm hearing from Spirit, it's time for you to work with your crystals again, to connect with that energy, like to really channel the Lionsgate portal energy. Hold on, they're having me, I think they're gonna have me move this. I was like, all of a sudden I was like, I felt like it was too much, like it was too close to me. I'm like, I feel like I've got something in my mouth, and I'm like, yeah, it's clary sage. You know what I mean? That was so funny. And frankincense. Okay, sorry. That was my toenail. I always tell people, I'm like, if I farted, you'll know about it. Or you wouldn't, because I'd pause it. You know what I mean? Also, farts are funny. They want us to start having a sense of humor. I know it seems like I'm all over the place, but there's a lot of medicine coming through. You'll pick up what you need and, whatever. When I'm channeling like this and I'm working with such powerful entities, it's almost impossible for me to stay completely focused on one thing, because you guys are also extremely fucking powerful. I am powerful, right? But we are the quote-unquote healers for the healers. We are the anchors on this planet. We are the light workers. We are the star seeds. Some of us are all of the above, but whatever we are here to do right now, this is the only thing that's on the menu. Love. And my throat chakra got really tight, so drink some water. Sorry, I had to kind of, I mean, so vocal, but I had to rinse that out. It was weird. All of a sudden I can feel it. I don't actually normally sit that close to the diffuser, but it was so nice, the smell. I wasn't like really thinking about it. And maybe that's like a sign too. Also, I started to shuffle, and this is what was at the bottom of the deck. Share your gifts. Share your gifts. Some of you are wondering why your job, it's also number 62, which is the number 8. Come on. For the 888 portal. I love it. Yeah, and they're saying don't put it away. Okay. Some of you, they're saying you are hoarding your gifts. You're also hoarding your material things. You know, sometimes things are presented to us in a certain way. Oh, this looks so cool. It looks like they're like kind of in a room, doesn't it? It's so cool. You know, it's like sometimes we are presented with things, right? Every single decision we make from the time we wake up until we go to sleep, every single day that we are alive in these avatars on Earth right now, every decision we make has an outcome. And I feel like that's what they're trying to say to you, is to remember like your gifts and remember like who you are. I'm gonna tie my hair back. And that some of you, you're like withholding. You're literally like withholding your gifts. Like you know what to do, like you know what to do, but you're withholding it, or you're hoarding it. I literally just keep seeing this hoarding thing. And crystals too. I'm hearing like some of you, like you never want to give your crystals away, or you never, and they're like, you know, I had an incident. I've had many things over my time being a teacher, because even when I'm teaching, I'm also the student, right? Because how I interact with each experience, you know, speaks a lot about me. Sorry, I don't want this on my hair now. I'm feeling so like hypersensitive. It's so interesting. It's not bad, it's just interesting. I'm just feeling, did you ever just have that where you're like, everything feels like super, my empaths, you probably know what I'm talking about. Like you just feel like everything, you just feel like a live wire. But yeah, these crystals, like, right, like the quartz crystal, it's an amplifier. Some of you, this is going to sound a little harsh, but some of you cannot handle the energy of the crystals that you have. Like if you have a crystal that every time you hold it, you're like that happened to me once. A fellow light worker, they had this gorgeous quartz crystal. It was massive. I've always loved it. I always admired it. Like right when she got it, I felt a connection to it, but you know, never with any like, I want it, like kind of energy, just like felt a connection to it. All this time goes by, whatever. Finally, she was just like, I think this is yours. Because every time I look at it, she's like, I feel like it's not mine. And I know that like you like to play with it when you come over. She goes, I feel like it's supposed to be yours. And I'm like, oh, can I pay you? And she was like, no, dude, no, of course. Like, because we always traded stuff all the time. So and then as the teacher, I've had that where, you know, things I'm like, oh, I'll admire something or something. The person will be like, oh, I thought of you or something. And I'm like, you know, and they'll either give it to me or they don't give it to me. And I'm like, that was your time to gift me that thing, but you don't want to let go of it because you're like, no, you're coveting it because you're like, I love it, I want it. But sometimes you're just the bringer. Sometimes you're just the gift bringer. Sometimes you're the medium, the go-between. And I just said that about these crystals, but that doesn't mean that they still won't go somewhere, right? I mean, I've had times, I cannot tell you how many times I go to the grocery store and I'm going through my crystals and I'll bring things in my pockets, you know, and I'll say to someone, that's why so many of my Lemurian star seeds keep like moving on, because I will run into somebody in a grocery store or a library or something and we'll have a conversation and I'll feel like it's burning a hole in my pocket, like literally. Like I'll feel it like amplifying up. Like they're like, they're here. Like they're excited to be with their person, right? Like crystals carry energies and entities and I'll, you know, sometimes both, you know, and I say that because not every crystal has an entity in it. It just has a vibrational energy of healing or supporting or whatever. But some of them literally carry entities. That's why they have names, or you can feel that where you're like, no. So, you know, that's kind of how you can tell when it has a name. They'll let you know. Because when Percival told me he wanted to stay there, I was like, I mean, I had a carrying case for him. He was so big. I was like, what do you mean? I was like, no, Percival, no. And I didn't even have him that long. But he was gifted to me by another shaman, you know. And so it was a matter of time that it was going to happen. And, you know, when he gifted me Percival, and I'm not kidding, like he was like, I would put it in front of me and it would like be like cover my whole person. When he first gifted it to me, I was like, oh my gosh, I love that. Every time I'd come in here, I was drawn to it, but it was filthy. It looked like it had not been cleaned since it came out of the ground. And like over time, like So I worked on Percival, and I, soaked him and worked with him. And when he came to life and I put him in the sun, it was like, oh, right? Like that moment where you're like, holy fucking shit. I took before and after pictures. Those of you who've been with me a long time, you may remember Percival, and you may remember, I think I did a before and after on my Instagram or Facebook when I was on those. But anyway, it's like, sometimes don't discredit a crystal for looking old or ugly, or you know what I mean? Because they may surprise you. You wash them up and they're fucking powerful. Yeah, and that's a lot of times those are the quiet ones, right? Like, because they're only going to speak to who they want to speak to. So this is like a heads up for you guys to really, really, really work with that. Share your gifts. Also, because it's like so on the nose, I feel like for some of you, it's actually like hospitality or food. Like maybe you want to have a food truck or a restaurant, or you've always thought about having a spiritual retreat, where people come and, some of you may be very protective of your crystals because you're going to open a business and you're like, no, I know this is meant to go in my business. And I'm feeling like for some of you, if you're getting like, you don't want to travel anymore, like, earlier Gypsy came to me, and if I can remember the lyric, or if not, I'll just paraphrase, but she says, to the gypsy that remains, I think she says something like, I am still here or something. But anyway, it's just about like taking your power back, and you can be a gypsy without leaving your house. Like, a gypsy could be like, maybe you're a soul gypsy where you astral travel when you're sleeping at night. Maybe you're like a spiritual gypsy that like, you work at your job and you help people, when you're at work. When you come home, you're really quiet in solitude. You're not on social media. You don't talk, like whatever works for you. But I'm just hearing that this is a huge wake-up call, that it's massive. You need to share your gifts. The only thing holding you back is you. And would you hear that? I don't know if that's an eagle or a hawk. I wish I was better at knowing. And lately they've been all around me. Notice we use feathers. I don't know if you guys saw the last pick a reading. Spirit had me do it in a podcast format. I feel like if you haven't seen that reading, you may want to go check it out. It was really fucking powerful. And I'm not saying this either to like, whatever, but I really felt like I was surprised at this point. It is the lowest viewed pick a reading I've had in like a really long time at this point. By, you know what I mean? Like in terms of like how many people view it. And I really thought that was interesting because I think the last time I looked at it, it was at 16 or 17 views. But that's been, I don't know, it's been a while. I've been really busy. But anyway, I digress. But I feel like it was for the really powerful healers. Those who don't need, this, of course I love doing this. I love doing it for you. Oh my gosh. I used to do windows for, Bloomingdale's in Chicago, not their front windows, but like I used to do like display cases for like jewelry and stuff like that. But then I did windows also, just not at Bloomingdale's, for shops. And that was kind of like my thing where people like, they let me get crazy and artsy in the windows, and it was just so much fun. So I'm hearing for some of you, like, it's time to share your creative gifts, but yeah, this is like the bird medicine is calling to you. If you chose this one, it's also because I feel like you guys are like the most balanced, right? Like with the black and the white, but not, right? Because you chose this one. It seems balanced, but it's really in more shadow. And I feel like they're trying to just be like, come into the light. Come into the light, Caroline. Right? Like they're trying to tell you, you need to, step out of the shadows. And, oh, look, it just fell down. Step out of the shadows and into the light. Like, we're out of the woods, we're out of the book, come into the light. Remember from the Wizard of Oz? And she's like, open. Right? And that's what this has been. The whole thing on Earth, all these movies, TV shows, books, everything has been like, opening our eyes to see like that this kind of stuff is real, that the Egyptians and how it all ties together. We've just been, there's been a lot of people and energies over time that have not wanted us to come into this light, but also it's the way it was divinely meant to be. We all needed to go through this through our own time in our own way. But they're congratulating us because they're like, you know, if you're on my channels, you guys are really powerful light workers. Like, you're really powerful. And I'm not saying this to feed your ego, right? Because this is the last thing that's about. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not about the ego. So they want you to start sharing your gifts in the respect of waking up in the morning, taking in 3 deep breaths, you know, and saying, good morning, Spirit. With a smile on your face, it's a brand new day. Everything that happened the night before is over. It's in the past. Doesn't mean you won't have to heal it or work with it at some point, whatever it is. But this is a brand new day. And every day they want you to wake up and look at it as a brand new day. The bird medicine is calling to you. Anyway, some of you, if you're drawn to that, pick a reading. I'll put a link below as well. Go check it out. Or you'll just see it in the, you know, pick a reading. You'll see it. It says which bird is guiding you now. But yeah, I'm just feeling like this really cool, powerful energy that's like coming in for you guys now. That's like, it's really filtering in. But you have to allow it in, you know. It's okay to step out of the woods and step into the light, because that is exactly what's happening. It's just that we've, especially the older people, you know, like myself, every single day I have to work at it just as hard as you do. I mean, here's the deal. Any soul I've ever worked with in this life or beyond, if they feel any darkness towards me in any way, shape, or form, I can feel it. And I have barriers up and I've got people protecting me. I'm good. But also it's my like pushing back and setting my boundaries and saying no. And you keep setting those boundaries and you have to keep doing it. And some people, you have to keep doing it until it's like, you know, I mean, we had a situation recently where I was like, I said to my husband, should we get a restraining order? Like, I was like, I'm not even kidding. Because you guys know, like, my heart. And I was like, I've tried and tried and tried. But I was like, you know, 2 years. And I'm like, we're not even kin. I'm like, we may be, like, angel kin. But that's the thing is, like, even the light workers, if they're not waking up and they're staying in shadow, that's their decision. And we have to push back and say no. And, you know, right now, this Lionsgate portal, it's, at least for myself, it's like I was feeling that as much as I'm feeling the joy and the light saturating my soul, and I'm like, I love my life, I love my life. You know what I mean? Like, I've just been like, every time the darkness comes in, I'm like, I'm going to keep doing this. I'm like, I don't care. It's my musical. It's my life. I can be as happy as I want to be. You know, I will not let others steal my joy. Take your power back. That's what they're saying. I feel like I'm crouching down so you can see Isis. I'm like, okay, now I can just relax. I'm like, you know, do not, Isis is, you know, the goddess of love. I almost feel like I want to take her off and put her on here. Maybe that's where she wanted to be this whole time. Right? Because we do accept all and reject none. Right? Because we are one. But also at the, ooh, that's perfect. Look at you. Go girl. You go girl. I love it. And look at the way she's connecting the hands, right? Love, because love connects us. Why do you think the darkness is I mean, Kamala, this whole thing happening is, I mean, it's so exciting. You know what's interesting is that when those of you who've been with me a long time know, by the way, my back was fine and all of a sudden my back is hurting. So I'm hearing from Spirit, for some of you, you need to do some heavy grounding. Take off your shoes and socks and connect your feet to the earth. And even for our Southern Hemisphere family, I don't care how cold it is, you need to go and connect to the earth. And even if you have to dig a hole, you know, even if it's just right outside your house, bring your blow dryer and an extension cord. You know what I mean? But you get to that earth. You get close to that earth. Even the ice, you will feel it. You know what I mean? Because you're still connected to the elements. And maybe it's because you need to be connected to water. But anyway, see how Isis is connecting the hands. That's what's happening on the planet right now. But if you guys remember, and this isn't to be like, oh, look at me, you know. It's more like, you know, just, I'm a fucking medium, right? So it's like they predicted this, they told us this, everything that has, you know, that's why I love that this has been in real time and raw time. They may have me bring some of my old videos back. I don't know. But what I do recognize is the power that's happening on the planet. People are taking their power back. That's why this is rolling out this way. You know, I will never forget this as long as I live, but another fellow medium, she is like, honestly, one of the most powerful mediums I've ever met in my life. Really powerful witch, had been through a lot of heavy shit, a lot of dark times. But long story short, we both, like, everybody was like, oh yeah, Hillary's gonna win. Hillary's gonna win. Like, we felt it. We're like, the divine feminine, like, it's time. This is it. This is what we've been waiting for. This is it. Hillary's gonna have her moment. Everything's gonna happen. Blah, 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 blah. We're like, this is so awesome. This is so awesome. This is so awesome. This is so awesome. Right? Hold on. I was looking to see. Oh, so they wanted me to look down 3652. Is that correct? Or 3952? 3952, but I feel like it was 3946. So if that means anything to you guys, those are angel numbers for you to work with. But remember, there's semicolons in between, so it could be ages, it could be a lot of things. It's just numerology or angel numbers. I'll leave it up to you, whatever hits for you. But we all really thought she was going to win. And so when it was announced that she didn't win, we were like, holy crap. And we were texting each other, and I was like, are you okay? And like, I said, do you want me to call you? And I called her, and it was like, I don't know, 1:30 in the morning or something like that. And we live on the West Coast. She started crying, and she's like, I guess I am a fraud because I feel it. I'm like, I don't understand. She's like, I don't understand. I'm like, I don't either. I'm like, but I feel like we will. And I was still trying to stay positive, even though I was just like, oh my gosh. And then it was like, it was just that thing. And then during the whole time, you know, the world was like becoming so ugly. And I was like, okay, I see what's happening. I'm like, they wanted to get ugly so people can see the ugliness. We wanted everyone's ugly out there, because how can you fight something you can't fucking see? You can. You absolutely, positively can, if you have the right tools and the right connections. But if you don't, if you're not connected to the energies and the entities in the universe, then you won't connect with that energy, right? So the rest of the people were connecting to the anchored energy of the third dimensional patriarch, all they knew, right? People like, oh my gosh, I don't know what's happening. I'm going to hang on over here to the darkness. I'm going to hang over. Oh. Like, you know, I just watched the Titanic again. I haven't seen it in years. And just, yeah, it's like everybody's like hanging on for dear life, right? Like they're like, which way is the boat going to go? And you're trying to predict like what's going to happen. And you know what I mean? But it's like people who were too scared, even when they're like, no, you're going to die. They like died, you know what I mean? Because they just held on to that instead of like fighting to live. They just like stayed in that place. You know, there was like that scene. Oh my gosh, my stomach was sick, where there was like the mother with the two babies, and like, ugh. It was horrific, right? But it's like that she was just like, I'd rather stay here and die and drown with my kids than, you know, have them be terrified, you know, whatever. So, but it was just so interesting. And I felt like the Titanic, just like watching at the end, like watching humanity and just watching people and the people with money and just how grotesque their behavior was. And like, and how we were like, fuck yeah, Rose, you know what I mean? Like, I would have done the same thing. Like, I feel like Rose is like the hope in all of us. That's the whole reason why, if you've never seen it, I won't give away the ending, but you know, it's like, but that's why so many things had to happen and aligned so Rose could, you know, tell the story, right? It had to happen that way. Everything had to go down that way. And watching it again, I was like, wow. And let me tell you, I saw that movie in the theater at the Grauman's Chinese Theater in Los Angeles. And it's like a 1,000-seat theater. It's like old. It's like one of the first, you know, theaters ever built, right, in Los Angeles. I think it may have been the first theater. It was either that one or the one in, anyway, it doesn't matter. So I lived there for a long time. That's why I'm like I'm like, wait, but it's like my brain always goes to the historian, but it doesn't matter in this moment. But it was just really profound. And I remember I was like 3 hours, man, because I know I'm like, my sparrow bladder, I'm like, I'm gonna have to pee, you know, and trying to like, and this isn't like a place where you just, you know, back in the day, like when they built it, like people went to the theater, so they would dress to the nines. So the bathrooms aren't just like ghetto bathrooms, right? Like in like the movie theaters that you see. You know, I say ghetto in terms of like energy, right? Like people graffiti and like whatever, and like it's like in the mall. It's like, no, this is like where the bathrooms are beautiful. Like they've done everything in their power to keep them fully like restored, where they had like people who worked in the bathrooms who handed you towels, you know, that kind of thing. They may still do that, I don't know. But it was just like such a beautiful, elegant experience. But I had to run and like go up the stairs, go through the thing, go to the bathroom, because the bathroom was up by where they would have like a break, right? Along movies, they would have like a break in between, and people would go and get a drink, go and have a cigar or whatever, go use the restroom. But yeah, it was just really profound. But they didn't do that for the Titanic. But when I watched it this time, I was like on pins and needles. Even though I've seen it, I was like eating my popcorn. I was like, it was the fastest 3 hours of my life. It was like watching, it was like being on an adventure, like being on a ride. So if you haven't seen it or haven't seen it in a while, I feel like you should go and watch it, because it really does show you humanity, and just like that most people are really good. You know, but there's going to be those bad apples, and there's going to be those dark energies and those entities that have gotten their way through bigotry, through force, through bullying, through manipulation. I mean, it just all these horrible things, gaslighting, love bombing, you know, threats. I mean, it's just horrific. It's horrific. Those are the people that are really slow to love right now. And so Spirit's saying it's time for you to pick up the pace in the love department, but slow your roll in terms of like who, it's like you can love somebody, even somebody who frightens you, scares you. I don't care if it's someone who, you know, a drunk driver who took away someone you loved. You know, we've all had people who were hurt or damaged or, you know, whatever. Oh my gosh, you guys, a little fairy wish thing just threw in. Oh my gosh. I don't want to get up right now, but if they have me, I will, because I feel like we're supposed to be in the moment. But that's what they're saying. It's like, but we need your fairy, we need your Tinkerbell, right? Like we need your energy to stay high. So staying in the darkness, you know, for some of you, I feel like you've been sharing your gifts with people who are in their shadow, who haven't, like, this feels really real. Okay, so this is going to be for at least one person. I feel like this is a divine feminine giving to a divine masculine who's still in their shadow, but is like pretending to be in the light, and is all like, you know, flattering them and giving them gifts and telling them how great they are. But the second they say no, they're like, oh, sorry, right? And then they're like, if they start a fight or they start a war or they make you feel guilty, or they're like, gimme, gimme, gimme. And I'm hearing, no, because you're more over here in like the hands-on department. I'll even put you, how about this? I'll put you inside here, because this is where you really belong. In your own little outer space, because they're saying like these will be representative space. And I feel like these feel like the 888, right? Like I feel like Spirit has got your back, and theirs too, but they need to be on their own. You know, I had the most beautiful conversation. I don't know if I'm going to share it in this group reading, but I had one of the most beautiful conversations with my partner yesterday than I think we've had. I don't even know if, I mean, definitely in the top like 5. If I feel like it may be the best conversation we've ever had, but it's definitely one for the books where I was like, oh, thank you so much. Like we needed that. Like we needed to have that communication. We needed to talk about it. We have this little, I call it a game, because it kind of is, but it's just a great way to gauge our intuition and our feelings. Because, you know, have you ever heard that saying, your first answer is usually the right one? That's what I'm getting from Spirit. Meaning, like, if you, like, watching this reading, like, whomever we're talking about, whoever sparks, you know, for you, like, or whatever situation comes up, whatever, that's what's asking you to heal it and work with it, you know? And you may want to work with Isis, too, as you're trying to heal this. And they're saying you can heal it with love. Oh, this is so pretty. I like want to take a picture of it, but I don't want, there's a thing where you can take a picture, but I'm like, I don't want to like mess with it. So take a screen. How about this? I'll try and be as still. That's why I wore this. Like I'm trying to like, like blend in. Take a screenshot of that. I feel like that is for you to keep on your phone. so that when you look at it, you remember to share your gifts. And you remember to do it with love in your heart and your mind and your body and your soul, but also with conviction and setting boundaries. You can set boundaries with love. If they don't receive it with love, that is not your problem. That is not your problem. I had a recent situation where I stood up to a bully, and when I did, they made it that they were the victim and I was the perpetrator. They came to my home unannounced and uninvited, and then when I was angry with them, tried to be kind first, it didn't work, and then I had to pull out my Leo. My third deacon came roaring out, and she was like, I am literally in the middle of a session. What part do you not understand? Like, they're like getting comfortable, sitting down, acting like they can just hang out. I'm like, oh my gosh, I did not invite you here. What are you doing? And then turned it around and made me the jerk. And I was like, wow, 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 wow. Like, I mean, I literally was like waiting for them to like message later and be like, oh, I'm so sorry. And it was like the opposite. Then 2 days later, they attacked my partner. My partner wasn't even here. We're on a sabbatical right now. He's on his own journey right now. I'm on mine. And so I was like, he wasn't even any part of that, but yet he brought him in and bullied him. It was like the weirdest thing. And it really shocked me to my core, because it was something that was like an old energy and old behavior from them. And I had no idea that was still, like, I knew that existed in them, but they were working on it. And I really thought that they would see past that. And I was like, wow, it was so overwhelming to me. But you know what? Sometimes things come to a head. And it doesn't matter how much we love someone or how much we give someone. They are not allowed to just come and take from us whenever they feel like it. I feel like someone in this group, people come and dump on you, you're allowing them to dump on you. You're just as responsible. And they're saying, take your power back and say, you know what? You're not allowed to come to my home or come into my space on my phone too. Like, people who call you, text you, come to your house, write about you on social media. That's bullying. That's attacking. You know, I actually didn't even want to discuss them or even speak their name again. The sad part is they're an angel and light worker like me too, right? And that's why it's like, no, 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 you are not allowed to behave like that. And I am so sorry. I know the energy on the planet is intimidating for a lot of people right now who are ungrounded and scared and running with fear. But those are the people that need the light the most. Those are the people that need our love and compassion the most. So you know what? I just keep sending love and compassion their way. I'm like, I love you, I love you, I love you. And same for you. Send love and compassion their way. But then say, I'm out. I'm stepping out of this energy, block them. I had to block them from my phone. I'm like thinking about getting a restraining order. I mean, it's like, I'm like, I don't live on your property anymore. Like, it was so creepy. And the thing that really like blew us away is Alder's like, my gosh, he's like, remember that time he said, I'll shoot anybody that comes on my property. And I can kill him and get away with it because, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, that's how they are. You know what I mean? And it was like, but yet they'll come here and it's like, so I guess it's okay for you to come on my property. Like, so, and Alder's like, I mean, in his theory, he's like, right? Like, he's like, we could, he's like, so you yelling at him is like just a very, it's right. Like, that's just like a, hey, like I was trying to be nice. Now I'm saying, get the fuck out of here, man. Like, you gotta go. Right? Like, there's only so much. It's like love may be at the base, but then it's like, no, that's my shadow. That's my shadow saying no. That's my shadow fighting back, right? Because we're balanced in light and shadow. But I feel like for some of you, you're allowing this to happen. And I feel like some of them, they're like trying to siphon your gifts. Like, I feel like they're trying to like, see how the card is like tilted? Like they're trying to hoard you instead of like sharing you openly with everybody else. They just want you and you alone. And it's like, or I feel like you're giving so much to this one person that you can't even give to others. You know what the funny thing is that the reason why I believe this all happened is that even though I told them that like, I needed space and like I was going to spend time alone or whatever, it's like, it doesn't matter because it's not enough time for them. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they were going to come over because they're like, gimme, 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 I want, like that Bob Wiley, you know, from What About Bob, like, you know, I need, I want. And it's like, little baby. I was like, oh my gosh. And I'm not saying this to sound like a jagoff, because I know I sound really mean, but it's like, that's what I'm saying. It's like, you have to, sadly, like, I'm part dragon, right? Like, I'm a triple Sag, so my fire's like, I love you, and I know that you have water, you know, but like, and that's what they do. It's like, they come with their water energy and they just splash it all over my fire, and they don't give a fuck. And that is, I was like, I literally said to my husband, I go, he's like a textbook narcissist. Like, that is like, you know, and we all can have narcissistic behaviors and tendencies. We all have empathetic, you know what I mean? But it doesn't make you a pure narcissist or make you a pure empath. They're two, that's why we've got one extreme to the other. We have the empath that is in the very dark shadow, and then we have the empath that is in the very bright light. And somewhere in the fray, we have, right, the regular people who are here starring in their own movie, in their own show. But as light workers and angels, it's like, if his path is to be the shadow and the darkness, whatever, it's like, he knows better. Like, he cannot just come into our orbit like that. It just doesn't work like that. Because I'm like, you don't even know the fucking hail of karma you're throwing at you. You know what I mean? Like, not to mention just like the like, it's uninvited. I'm here doing my job. But at the same time, I had to laugh because when they did, they have this angel number that's around them all the time, and it's like part of their phone number. And I've always like told them about it, and it's really interesting. And I'm not going to say it now because, you know, whatever. But it was interesting because when I had to pause the video, I was like, you know, I had to like shake it off and everything. It was really intense. It was during the bird picker reading at the end of 3 and the beginning of 4. I actually talk about it more in the beginning of 4 because it was talking about that again. So maybe you're drawn to that. It was the owl. It was the owl number 3, but it was like the 4th owl. Anyway, I digress. So anyway, it's just, you know, it's here to teach us. So even though I didn't really like it, right, it's like, it still was part of the teaching because I'm here talking about it again with you. So in theory, they're doing their job. It's just that it's like, okay, enough is enough. Now go and, you know, because any other rational human being would treat it with a different respect. I mean, you know, it's like, it was so intense. Like, the threats they were like throwing at my partner were so grotesque and bizarre, you know, just bizarre, where I'm like, I have no idea what's happening there. So, you know, people are really acting a little cray-cray out there right now, and it's whether you feed into it or you don't, right? Like, that's what they're going through in their shadow right now. And I am way past that, you know what I mean? And not like, I'm past that. No, it's like, no, I'm just like, I remember being that way. Like, I remember thinking the whole fucking world revolved around me. I remember, you know, I had all the other narcissistic energies around me as I was growing. I became that. And a lot of it was also protecting myself because I'm such a very, you know, sensitive empath. You know, and I'm a telepathic medium, so I can hear people's thoughts. I can communicate with people telepathically. I'm a medium. I'm an oracle. Like, I'm all of these things. Like, you can put all these labels on me. Witch, healer. I'm a Reiki, you know, right? Like, all of these things. I'm all encompassing. Many people, drink some water. Many people do not embrace those gifts. Or they only embrace the shadow of the gift. The manipulating, the coercion, you know what I mean? Like, that's what the narcissist is like, you know, especially, there's nothing more dangerous than the narcissist who gives, but gives what they want to give. And then if you don't want that, then it's like, you're the jerk, you're the, you know what I mean? Like, it's such a bizarre thing. So, and I've been there before. I have been in that energy. You know, you can take it as it comes. You can take it as a gift. You can take it as a riff. You can, however you want to take it. But at the end of the day, we have to keep coming back to love and keep coming back to compassion. But this message from the Lionsgate portal to you guys is, you know, you have to pull that dragon fire out, that lion out, and be like, rah, right? Because if you look at lions, man, they are tame. They're just like chilling out, man. They're just like fucking, and with their pride, they're just like, hey, and you see them, yeah, they yawn or whatever. They call out to each other, rah, how are you? Rah, I'm good, you know. But If they have to fight, they fight. If they have to eat, they hunt. But they don't kill for sport. They kill to eat. And we sometimes, have our ego, and narcissism, can help us sometimes when we need to get through a shadow moment with a shadow creature, or a creature who's in shadow at the time. However, that still does not give them a right. It does not give them any right to infringe on our lives that are joyful and happy because theirs are not. I think the time frame that you give someone, if it's 5 minutes or 2 years or 20 years or a lifetime, energy is worth something. And the thing that frustrated me so much about that day, and I forgive him, I love him, and I forgive him, I really do, and I have compassion for his sadness and his loneliness, but the thing that frustrated me the most was that I started that day in such a magical, like from the time I woke up and until that needle got scratched heavily across the record. That needle that gets scratched across the record so bad you can never hear the record again? I was frustrated because it was such a magical, wonderful day and the transmission was so amazing. But at the very end of the transmission, he came in and he was part of it. But it took me literally a half an hour to kind of recompose myself, because I was ripped out of channeling. Like right now when I'm with you guys, I am with spirit medicine, plant medicine, animal medicine, everything in the universe. I am this open oracle. So to get ripped into the third dimensional like that after several 5 or 6 hours straight of that, where I was literally in my own world and I'm in my own home, that's a form of attack. He may as well have come in here with the machete or a gun. I was spiritually assaulted. And it was so harsh and so off-putting. And I recovered and I finished the readings and we got out and we spoke through it. And I realized, I was like, you know what? I was so grateful to him and I thanked him, but I also was like, I said to Spirit, I'm like, unless something else happens or whatever, I'm like, I cut every cord, I was like, no, you can, I'm like, we are done. I'm like, do not come back, do not press go. You know what I mean? The only way it would be if it were, Spirit and they were really ready to change and I could tell they were ready to change. But it's like they bad talked me to my husband. That was the craziest thing. Was he didn't even know what was really going on, because actually no, he did at that point, but I didn't tell him. I was going to bother him. He's on his journey. I dealt with it. I worked through it. This was on Friday. I saw him. I told him Sunday night when we were in person, and I asked him if he wanted to hear about something that had happened with him. And I said, if you don't want to hear about it, he's like, no, tell me what happened, So he was aware, but that made him even more angry, because he was so upset that, he would come here, and attack me like that. And so it was just very, 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 very interesting. So let's see if there are any more messages for you guys. Oh, this was at the bottom, and it's number 45, which is also the number 9. Invest in your spirit. And what were we saying at the beginning? I'm going to see if we're going to pull any more. Remember at the beginning, I said that about not holding things in, giving away freely, really giving away because you want to give, and not because you're oh, this or that, it's time to get rid of stuff. I had a cleansing, or I'm still doing a cleansing and a burning on my own right now, here. So Spirit says it's time to just laugh. Another analogy we were talking about recently was Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, or oh my gosh, why can't I? Willy Wonka. Remember where they drink the fuzzy lifting drinks, and that makes, and I think, wasn't that the one he was like, if you laugh, it'll keep you going, but if you don't, you sink down, right? And so that's what I feel like they're trying to say, just laugh. And if somebody is really being obnoxious, in the shadow and the darkness, Spirit is like, just laugh. Don't laugh at them. Just be like, you know, you have no power here, man. Like, just fucking, like, go. Just be like, I love you. I love you. And just the more, because I'll tell you something. Have you ever noticed that the more someone is a dick to you, if you're nice to them, they get mad? Right? Because they want to just stay in that, man, they want to stay in the pity party. They don't want to stay in the victim. They want to stay there. They want to stay there. And you're like, I want to play. I want to have fun. I want to go run in the forest. I want to play with this Jack-in-the-Box. Oh my gosh, let's see how he's going to shock me this time. Ha ha ha, and laugh about it. You know, you could be afraid of the Jack-in-the-Box, or you can fucking be excited about it. You know, because trust me, I went in all directions with that. I was like, did I overreact? Was I a jerk? Was I, you know, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, should I have just, because I was at the end of that, you know, particular reading, but I was going on to the, like, when I'm in a transmission, I'm in a transmission. Some of them I take breaks in between, and a lot of those during the day I did, you know, and I walk the grounds and come back, but it's just me. I'm not talking to anybody. I'm connecting with nature. I'm talking with Gaia. I see if there's any animals that want to come through, that kind of stuff. But in that particular one, it was the owl, but it was like it was like the owl spirit, and then like 3 separate owls had messages. So it was like, I was so in it, especially with the owl wisdom. Like, it's such a different experience. And so, you know, I was like, should I have just, you know, been like, hey, you can't be here. I've told you, you know, blah, 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 and like been cute about it. And they were like, no, because you've been cute about it. He did it to me a few months ago. And he always shows up here when my husband's not here. And anybody who knows us and knows our family, Alder is like his car is like an extension of him. Literally, he lives in his car. It's got all this. He's a mobile mechanic. You know what I mean? Like, it's he's always with his vehicle. If his vehicle is not here, he's not here. You know, it's very rare that his vehicle wouldn't be here. So, and he knows that. And that's why it's like, it was so interesting, because he came here to see me, and then when I did that, he, like, you know, got upset, and then it was like he was waiting for me to apologize to him. And then he like messaged my partner, you know, which is funny, because the last time he showed up here and I told my husband, he got really upset, because he's always trying to break us up. I mean, I wouldn't normally talk about this out of school, but I feel like I'm meant to share this with you guys. But he has been trying to break up me and my husband since he met me. His wife was barely dead, and he was like trying to get together with me. And I tried, and I mean, I tried like cutting ties with him so many times, and he would be like, you know, I know I'm gonna be better. I'm sorry, right? And I'm like, that's disrespectful. You know, I'm like, I know you're older, and I know that you are very in a heavy patriarchal, like, whatever. You know, he was a Trumper, like that kind of thing. And I kept trying to walk away, because I'm like, no, we're different. No, 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 no. And Spirit was like, no, you can still work with people that are different. That's the whole point. They're like, you can't just be like, oh, you're in all shadow, or you're in, you know, blah, blah, blah. You're in hate mode. You're in manipulator mode. Like, you get no love. They're like, no, they've become this way because of no love, because of no compassion. So that's all I've done for 2 years, was give him love and compassion, and try and try and try and try. But the last time he showed up, I thought it was really creepy, because it was the first time he showed up. Before, he used to do it when we lived on his property, and we gotten a few, you know, things about it, and then they stopped doing it. But then when we moved here, he just showed up one day, like a few months after we had moved here, and he's like, I haven't heard from you. Are you not going to talk to me anymore? And I was like, oh my God. And I was like, dude, I'm like, and it was really weird, because Alder and I had just decided to take some time apart, and so I had only been alone for like a few days, and I had just like finally kind of decompressed. So when he showed up, I was in a really relaxed state. I had just smoked a bowl and made food, and I was going to relax and watch a movie. So I was in a really happy, my natural vibration, and it kind of frightened me, because I just heard hello, and then a knock at my door, and so I was like, oh shit. And our landlord was fairly new. He had never done that before, but I was like, maybe he told somebody to pick something up, and they don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know. So I was like, oh shit. And so I was like, hello. And then, you know, he said who it was, and I was like, I opened the door, and I'm like, what are you doing here? You know? And I even said, I'm like, oh dude, you know, I've asked you not to come here, you know? And he was like, I know. But he's like, I was so afraid you were never going to talk to me again. And I was like, I'm like, you are grown up. Like, you need to, you know, these are my boundaries, you know? So it's like, I could have done that again, but it was like, they did it again. But this time I was really working. I let it go the first time, and I, you know, so maybe I'm sharing this story with you because you're having somebody like this in your life. I feel like this is for somebody, because I'm being quite honest with you. I really didn't want to share this story with you guys because I don't like the energy that was behind it, or the threats that were implied, or, you know, it was very, very disconcerting. The threats were so off-putting, and I was like, I remember how it, and it's like it put us both into this kind of like jarred state, you know, because Alder and I have been working on fear and having no fear, and honestly, I have no fear. I still have no fear because there's nothing they can do, you know, there's nothing they can do to us. Everything they're doing, you know, is they're doing it to themselves. So, you know, we've just decided not to answer it. You know what I mean? I'm like, I asked him, I said, are you going to respond to that? He's like, no. He's like, no. He's like, that is so abusive. He's like, I can't believe he did that to you. And then he did that to me. He's like, no. He's like, I'm not gonna give into that behavior, is basically what he said. And I was like, yeah. So we have to treat all of, they're having me share the story because even this person who's a very powerful light worker, I don't know if they're an angel, but I definitely feel that they're a light worker. Some light workers have turned, you know, to the shadow because they've been using the manipulation of dark magic for so long to survive that they don't even realize that it's literally possessed them now. They're in this possession of abyss, of blacky, inky ickiness. And right now, like, I'm sending this energy, this black tourmaline energy to you. So use your crystals and stones to protect your energy. I'm getting that really strong from spirit, especially when you're sharing your gifts with others. It is vital and imperative that you know, I remember one time one of my shamans, her whole body was tattooed with protection energy. But also, she did that because she didn't want to wear crystals and stones. And she's like, I went through those phases. She's like, and then I just got to the point where, you know, she's like, you really don't need anything, and you don't even need the tattoos, is what she was saying. Is that, like, basically, if you are protected and you believe you're protected, then you are. So the next message is take no offense, right? Like, I can be irritated and pissed off, right? Because, like, right? Like, look what's happening. She's in her own bubble. She's like, la, 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 la. I'm in my happy world. I'm in my carriage. I'm enjoying my life. Little does she know that she's going through a puddle and about to splash this dude and ruin their outfit, right? Which is kind of interesting right now because that's kind of what happened with he and I, right? Like, I feel like it used to be the other way around, right? Like, they tried to control me with, like, because we were excited about, you know, having this home and all these things, and spirit was teaching us, and we were teaching him, and he was teaching us, and it was a really great thing, and everything was wonderful, and we've had our ups and downs, and we come back from them again, you know. But now it's like, now the tables have turned, and the divine feminine is now here, and the divine masculine is the one that's at the hand of the accident, right? Like, it wasn't on purpose, but if you take it like it's on purpose, then you're rejecting everybody, you're accepting nobody, and you're like, oh my goodness, you ruined my outfit. Like, when I read their message that they sent my partner, I was literally like, oh, I literally said something like, they're certifiable. Like, that's, I'm like, what? I'm like, he may as well just come here and took his pants down and took a shit on my fucking front doorstep, but he doesn't see it that way. He even made fun of and mocked that I was in my sessions or whatever. He's like, oh, I guess I upset her. He goes, but this isn't about her. He's like, this is about you. Then he attacked him for something that wasn't even true. That was from something from a long time ago that we, like, offered to, like, take care of, and he was like, oh gosh, no, don't worry about it, you know, blah blah. We're like, okay. But yet he's coming back with it like months later, and I'm like, and I said to him, I go, that happened on Friday. I go, why is he texting you on Monday? I go, it's like he was waiting, because the old days I would have, like, found a way to try and iron it out and you know, and try and work things through. But this time I was like, no, you took your last shit on my doorstep. You're fucking done. Goodbye. Isn't it funny that we've been talking about shitting on a lot lately? I've been using it in the readings, talking about when Charlotte shit her pants on on Sex and the City. But seriously, and now the divine feminine is riding high in the carriage, and that's what's happening. Spirit's like, don't have any more fear, because these people who were trying to, like, you know, bully you or hold something over you, whether it's friends, family, boss, whatever, they're like, nope, they've done shit their pants for the year. They're done. Like, they don't even, I'm like, do you want me to put the card there? They're like, no. They're like, no. because they don't allow, and it's not because we're being mean. We love the divine masculine, pray for it, send it love and compassion. The divine masculine needs it more than ever, because not all men on the planet are like that, right? It's just an old energy, and there could be a 5-year-old child that's still holding that energy, but that's because it's in their family, right? It's being taught by somebody in their family to be like, you know, like, that bitch just fucking, you know, got mud on my outfit, right? That kind of dialogue, where it's no longer accepted. I was watching something recently with Drew Barrymore on her show, and she was talking with Alyssa Milano, which I don't want to get into that, but anyway, but they were, I was drawn to look at it because I was curious. You know, Drew's such an oracle herself, and she's very sensitive and stuff, and I was wondering what she was feeling talking to her, because there is a darkness in Alyssa Milano that I don't know what it is, and I send them both love, but there is definitely, it's like this. It feels like some like survival instinct from the old boys club, but there's a lot of shit that's coming to the fucking surface with a lot of these old actors and things like that, but I digress. But they were talking about the Poison Ivy movie that they both did, and that and anyway, they were just talking about all these different things, and like, they're like, that movie would never fly now. Like, nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see a crazy girl who's trying to, you know, kill people because she's obsessed with a guy. Like, you know what I mean? And just the sexualization and the exploitation of women that just got worse in the 90s, where, like, you know, right now, they're with Kamala and this happening. That's what I was starting to say earlier. If you guys remember, when that happened with my friend, I was like, I feel like something good is going to happen. And then Trump, like, came in, and he put all of his darkness in his shadow, and he brought all of it out. He did his job. He did his job. He did his job. You know, you can't be mad at him. We can't be angry at him for doing what he was brought here to do, right? Same with this person I'm talking about that I had to, like, set the boundary with, right? Like, they did what they had to do. But now it's their choice. They don't have to stay in that. And I told you guys, I said, I'm like, I have this weird feeling that when he's in office, I'm like, I don't know if he's going to die. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm like, but I feel like when Biden's in office, she's going to become the president. I'm like, I don't know how to explain it. I don't know how to blah, blah, blah. Do you guys remember those readings, like, during that election time or after that election time and over the last, like, you know, when Trump was in office and all that? I said, you guys, I know it really looks ugly right now and we can't see it, but I'm like, 2026, and think about it, 2026 is going to be the golden year because it comes to the number 10, completion. So right now we're like we have tipped the scales of, like, the light, you know, and the shadow is there. We need it there. It's balanced, but it's like, it's just, we are almost in balance, and we are because we are accepting love in our heart. And because this card was upside down, but we're starting to realize that, you know, we're part of the tribe. It's okay. It's okay to, what does it say? Take bite-sized steps. So accept love is 12, which is also the number 3. Did we look at all these numbers? Oh, 14 is also number 5. Just laugh, right? So we're changing out of that energy, and then take bite-sized steps. Oh, that's why they said to look at the number. It's 46. Oh my gosh, get it? 46, because 6 and 4 is 10. It's like we're almost there. And at some point, look at, it's like, see how the light, oh my gosh. Okay, I see what's happening here. And I am going to put it here for a second because I want you guys to see this. Isis is still there. But they're saying, do you see how this is how they want us to look at our past? In this shadow. And I was going to move the card because I'm like, what? This kind of doesn't make sense, or like, it makes perfect sense, right? Because we are in the light, like, here's the light, like, we're with the light, but we're turned around and looking at our old friends, our old family who are still in shadow. They're going that way and we're going ours, but they're going back into this way because we're sharing our gifts. Because the more we're sharing our gifts, people are either going to die in that ignorance and that hate. They will die that way, or they will not be able to handle it because deep down they want to love, they want to be happy, they want to be free. They don't want to, you know, think of a woman like that, right? They want to clear the fog. That's the next card. I mean, come on. What's the number on that one? I don't have my glasses on. 13, the divine goddess. I mean, come on, right? They want to clear the fog. Look at, they're like, look, we're over here. They're like, we're over here. Come over here. We see you. Just come be with us, right? Oh, look at how when I put this here and look at over here, how it matches. Oh my gosh, because once we share our gifts with the world, once they see the light and the fog gets cleared, right? They're gonna see this. What is this? Because we invested in our spirit and they invested in their spirit. And we all work together with this 888 energy. But we can't shun them, right? We can just send them love and compassion and hope that they accept the love, but we can't force it. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. And what's that one? Oh yeah, that's 12. That's number 3. And wherever 2 or more gather. And I think when that was the thing, is one of the things they said to me was when they came over here when I was by myself, is they said, don't leave me alone out here, or something like that. He's like, don't leave me alone out here. And I said, I'm not. I'm like, we're just, we're working on ourselves right now. I'm like, Alder and I are going through some major shit. I said, and the second I mentioned that we were going through stuff, he was like, leave him. We'll go to the Bahamas right now. He would say that to me every time. He's like, he's like, I'll take care of you. I was like, oh my God. I'm like, no. I'm like, I don't want that relationship with you. I'm like, it's never, ever going to happen. I was like, stop it. But instead I just like took a deep breath and I smiled and I just looked at him and I was like, I was like, I love you. I'm like, but you gotta go. I was like, you've got to stop. It's like, instead of like promoting, right? It's like, he wants to like hide my light. He wants me to accept his love, but it's like from a shadow place where I'm like, no. I'm like, I'm like, that's my partner. That's the person I've just spent 9 years of my life with, battling this war together. I'm like, no. I'm like, you don't have a right to come in and take over my love. And I'm like, that's what we're doing right now. We're literally fighting for the survival of our relationship. And we don't need, Bubba's in here eating and drinking, by the way. And we don't need that, and I feel like it's the same for you. There's an interloper in your midst. I mean, I wouldn't be talking about this for how long. This is like so long. But there's like, I feel like for some of you, there's an interloper. And it's an energy, or it's a person, or it's a job, a place, a thing. But there's just something that is stopping you from, and if they don't want to accept your love, that's on them. That's on them. And I don't think we're going to read from the archetype, but maybe we are. I didn't feel a pull there. Oops, one just flew off. So it could just be for, sometimes they have me pull cards because they want me to create shorts at the same time. Sometimes it's for, sometimes it's for, like I said, I'm going to be doing a group reading. Okay. And sometimes it's for you guys, like for the community section. So I feel this doesn't want any more. Let me see if they want these for the community section for you to look. Are these for the community section? Do we want to read any of these cards or show any of these cards right now to this tribe, or to this reading at this time? Okay. So these are going to be for the community section. And those of you who aren't familiar with the Archetypes guidebook, or the Archetypes Oracle deck, it's really powerful. So what I'll do is I will take I will take pictures of the cards. They literally have them on each side, so they won't even let me show you. I saw one, that's why I got excited. But it's a hint that I'm going to bring in to bring this reading together. But always look in the community section, because there's awesome things all throughout there, and make sure to like, comment, and share those things too. The more you share this information with people, the more it puts the light and the messages out there. So, and thank you to those of you who do share. I really appreciate it. I had no idea how many people share my videos until recently, and on my one channel I was like, wow, I was really floored, and they were really beautiful things. And so I feel we're getting our word and our message out there. One person, one soul at a time. If you notice, we're ticking up all the time. We'll see what happens after Lionsgate Portal. That'll be really exciting. So anyway, with that being said, the community section does have a lot of really cool stuff in there. So I will take pictures of each card, and then I'll take pictures of the energy in the book as well, so that you can work with it, and that will be even more further individual spirit medicine. Because I do feel like, some of these readings are just very specific to one person. Sometimes it's just to all of us. When they have me share such a personal story like this, I feel like some of you must be going through something similar. You must be, because they wouldn't have me share something so intense, you know, and have me go to such a deep place if they weren't like trying to push you, you know, further and push you beyond your comfort zone to speak your truth. Oh my gosh, like right now my throat's getting really tight again. Yeah, for some of you it's super hard. So use Isis, work with Isis. You know, work with the Egyptian energies and entities, the, you know, the gods and goddesses, the deities, whatever you're drawn to. But I believe these are your messages. And let me see, Spirit, I always like to ask one more time, do we have any more cards or messages for reading 1 before we close this portal? Nope. Those are your messages. So thank you so much for being here. I love you so much. Spirit loves you. All of my information is all over this channel. I'm like giving myself, also last thing, heading out, sound therapy, sound therapy, sound therapy. Even if it's something like, here, I'll use this healing. Ooh. Right. But listen to how loud, like how you have different sounds, right? Earlier I was like tapping on a plastic drum, and you know, it's just, I've just been feeling a lot of sound therapy. So water, drink some water. Work with your throat chakra, work with throat chakra meditation, sound therapy for throat chakra. It's going to help you. Some of you, the only reason why your throat feels tight is that you're afraid, and they're like, stop letting this person fucking scare you. I am getting like a very, like, I'm sorry. I just realized that could have been triggering for somebody. And I was raised in a very abusive, physically abusive household, so I apologize. But it is that severe, and maybe that you are. And they're like, there are so many ways to get help. Find a way to get help. If you are here and you're looking on the computer, there's a way for you to get help. So get help, and I am here for you. I will pray for you. I feel like for some of you, you're out of it, but it's still like a triggering thing, or it could be a childhood thing, okay? So the fact that these two fell down, I feel like this is definitely, you know, just work with love, work with love, work with love. Let that shadow leave and work with love. Okay, that's it, you guys. I will see you at the next reading. Take good care of yourselves and each other. I love you so much, and I'll see you next time. Blessed be. Oh. Welcome reading 2. Oh my gosh, I had so much fun putting this together for you, because I keep hearing, all you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is love. Love. Love is all you need, right? Also, I have a mantra for you, and your mantra, your message from the 888 portal, 888 portal, your message from the universe, from the stars, your mantra. Are you ready for the next year? I am beautiful. I am beautiful. I am beautiful. I am beautiful. And you keep saying it every single day, until you not only really genuinely believe it, but feel it, right? I'm getting all cozy. I thought I was cozy in that position, but I'm like, oh no, you guys got some fun love. I'm like, I'm gonna get in here with you with your love. I was gonna say your love juice, but that's really wrong. Because we gotta laugh, right? There's a lot of like interesting energy out there, but your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to stay in a high vibration. And anytime you want to go to the place that isn't love, you hear those words in your head. All you need is love. Get through what you need to get through, but then jump back into you, because that's who you are. Also, Isis wanted to come in. So work with Isis. The Egyptian energy is really strong right now. And they wanted me to bring up, I brought this up before, I'm going to bring it up again. You know, a lot of very pivotal, how would I say this, Spirit? How would you say it? Hold on, let me see how they want me to say it. Push pins. Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. I think we got that from Braca Goldsmith. That we are like push pins, right? Like, No, actually, I think that I got that from my first shaman, Layla. Sorry, I was just trying to give props where props are due. But I've been blessed with so many, right? Like I've had so many teachers at this point. So it's kind of, it's kind of sometimes you're like, wow, who said what at this point? Because, if you let the teaching and the healing in, you'll really let it in, But they spoke of like us as light workers. We're like push pins. We're all like perfectly placed on the planet exactly where we're supposed to be right now. And if you are in a place where you don't feel like it's right for you, I feel like you will know. Like, I feel like after this portal, you'll know. And I feel like for some of you, this isn't just, we just had a new moon. So this is still the time of setting your intentions. We're not in the first quarter moon yet. In fact, I brought my calendar out. I wasn't sure who it was going to be for, but it's for you guys reading too. So right now in real time, right, Mercury has gone retrograde. The new moon in Leo was 4 or 5 days ago. No, 4 days ago, because Lionsgate portal's tomorrow. So today in real time is Wednesday the 7th, right? So I've been calling it Lionsgate Portal Eve, like Christmas Eve. It really does feel like that. When I was setting this up, I swear I felt like I was like getting ready for a party. Like I was having my friends over. So it was really fun. So welcome to my party. Welcome to our party. So yeah, I'm getting the vibe. So yeah, so the first quarter moon, that's right. This is what was so cool about the calendar for this month, because Mercury retrograde was the 5th, first quarter moon on, I can't read backwards, there, the 12th, right? Then on the 19th, we have the full moon. And then on the 26th, we have the third quarter moon. And it's like every Monday. And we haven't had one of these in a while where it's just like, it's more than a trifecta. I don't know what you quadfecta, quattro. You know what I mean? It's like, it's pretty intense, And then like starting it with a new moon in fire and Leo of all things, right? Because Leo is like, me, all about me, enough about me. What do you think of me, right? So it's like, that's the energy. So they want us to use that creative energy to like just explore and like this whole thing. I was hearing that do 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 do, like the Star Trek do 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 do, right? So we're in the stars, like we're in it. We're so connected right now. Even this right now, I didn't understand why they wanted me to have it this way, but look, it's starting to look like a pyramid. It looks like a heart at the top. Because I was like, oh, you can't see these crystals. They're like, trust me, they're like, the light's going to move around while you're playing. Just like, I've been kind of like playing with stuff and moving things around. And, I was like, I want this to be seen, or I want them to see this. And they're like, trust me, it will. But there is definitely there's definitely some power and force that's going on with you guys. And I feel like maybe that's what they're trying to show me, like, show your sparkly side, believe that you're a light worker, believe that you're here to do something powerful, believe in magic. This time more than any time in the entire time of time on Earth, right? Like, this is here for a reason. This is honestly going to be one of the most amazing, beautiful, joyful, expansive, creative, fun energies that we will have had in a really long time. And it's the pinnacle, as I'm doing this reading, minute by minute, it's getting closer and closer to the, the pinnacle of it. But even once we get to the other side of that, right, we're still going to have that energy through the 12th. So I'm hearing like, this is the time to really amp it up, ramp it up, put it out into the universe, set those intentions. What do you really want? And if you're watching this past that time, you can still harness this energy, but they're on the next new moon, they want you to work with that. They want you to, so it's like, what do you really want? And remember that you're only going to live the life you want when you actually start living it. If you're living in a place with a person, at a job, whatever, if you're living in a place with a person or at a job that isn't aligning with you, something is going to give you a breakthrough over this time if you allow it. And this is the time to meditate on that energy. Ask for guidance, ask for support, ask for help. Ask for signs, symbols. You guys have noticed I've been really amping up my posts on my channel, on my channels. Like, they've been doing that on purpose because we, I felt like when we started this, they were like, congratulations, you guys, like, woohoo, like they want you to like get your streamers in that, like you're the little horns and stuff, but it's interesting because I still feel like there's this energy that is not allowing that to come in. So let's see what's going on. Do we want to talk to the Answer is Simple deck today, Spirit? Do we have any messages for reading two? We need to look a little bit deeper and find out what's going on. There must be a yes, because they wouldn't even let me shuffle. So, ooh, okay, so these two just came out just like this, so I'm going to put them up just like this. Oh, interesting. Okay, so this is in reverse. Interesting. Okay, so we have Take No Offense, which is 53, number 8. And we have Seek an Expert, number 52, which is also a 7. And even with that, I almost feel like this wants to go here, and I feel like we need some clarity. So, also, I don't know if you guys noticed this, right? Accept all, reject none. So our other mantra for the next, till the next Lionsgate portal is accept all, reject none. We are one. And you can even say we are one. Accept all, reject none. You know, but it is because it's like a circle. They just want you to throw in we are one with this. And even here, I almost feel like now I feel like she wants to kind of come down a bit to be more like in the middle. Because I feel like some of you feel like you don't deserve it. Like, oh, see that? Like you're like it's, or like you believe in some things and not other things. It was so funny. I posted a comedy thing on Lula's life about religion, about like when I was growing up, like how, you know, because this comedian Taylor Tomlinson, she is so like, it's like we were raised in the same house, you know what I mean? And those of you who were raised in kind of cult-like religions and very devout religions, like, you know, it's their way or the highway, and any diversion, you are an enemy, like, or it's like, oh, pity you or feel sorry for you. But it was interesting because somebody went on a tirade. I woke up this morning and I saw that, you know, I kind of forgot about it for a second. Then I went on and I'm not laughing to be mean. I laughed because, like, I saw the tirade and I was like, oh, somebody's either really happy or somebody's really upset, you know. And I laugh because I'm always like, what's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? Like, roll the dice. And I'm reading it and I'm like, okay. And they're very articulate and they're speaking their truth and you know, basically calling me mean and a bully, but Jesus loves me and blah, 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 because it was, you know, to them was completely blasphemous. And then, you know, the thing that people don't realize is that their page is public. So if they have pictures of themselves, you know, I can see who they are or what they, it's like so many times when I see that, I go and see who they are and I don't even mind it. Number one, I don't know them at all. But number two, you know what I mean? It's like, it has nothing to do with me whatsoever. It was there to teach, trigger, whatever, all of the above. But I went on there and she was like a little girl. And I thought, why are you even, I mean, she was probably 12, maybe 13. And I thought, why do you have a channel? Why do your parents give you a channel? And like, because you know what I mean? She's not old enough or mature enough to, I mean, she was mature enough to give me an articulate response. Like, she was more mature and articulate than most adults nowadays. I mean, no joke. But, and I can feel that her heart was in it. But at the same time, I was like, don't you realize everything you're saying is doing the same thing to me? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was like, you literally are like telling me like, go find Jesus and like, I'm a heathen and a demon. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's just so funny. And I just like, you know, but then I realized I'm like, cause she's a kid, a very smart, articulate child. But I was like, somebody raised her that way. You know, it's like, but where are the parents? And why does she have it? She's too young to have a YouTube channel. You know, and it's not even like she's preaching gospel. She's like, you know, there's a lot of like perversion and really dark stuff out there too. You know, I mean, it's not like she has like a channel and it's all preaching gospel. It's just her being like a 12-year-old girl and like playing with Barbies and stuff. It was bizarre. But at the same time, I was like, but here is this little girl who's coming to tell me, who's trying to save my soul. You know what I mean? It was just, and I'm like, but you have no parental guidance, like no parents are, or maybe she does and they think that's okay, you know? It was just so bizarre. But that's what I'm talking about. This world is fucking crazy right now and it's weird. So we can't take any offense to it. I was going to write something really loving and sweet to her and they said just block her and, you know, once you block, I think it deletes them anyway. And not to block her to be mean, but just like, because it's like, you know what? I'm adult content and I'm on there as adult content, and she shouldn't be looking at my stuff. It's okay that she does. It's something she may or may not remember. Maybe she'll be proud of herself, tell her church mates. I don't know. But you know what I mean? I was raised in a very cult-like church, full of hate and creepy stuff, and it was like, and then like perversion in the background. You know what I mean? There's so much shade and darkness and whatever, and I hope that that's not happening for her anywhere else. But I know that if it was that bad as a kid in the 70s, I can only imagine. So now I feel like what they're trying to show us is like the hippie movement. It's time for it to come back, man. Like, I was born in 71, so I was at, you know, the very like tail end of it, but you know, I felt it. Like, I felt that energy. You know, I thought about like when my mom was pregnant with me. It was like one of the most poignant years, and like John Lennon, like, you know, gave like one of the most prolific speeches of all time on December 10th, 1971, to free a man over, you know, going to prison for joints in his pocket. Prison. You know, and it's like my partner and I were just like, we were about to, like, literally about to sign the deal. We were like a hair away from signing a deal with these people for, you know, this job trade that was actually really good, and we really loved it and loved the place, and the house was amazing, and it was just amazing all the way around. It was all amazing until the end. She was like, oh yeah, sorry, we don't allow marijuana on the property. And I feel like anybody who says marijuana doesn't understand that cannabis is a plant, and that marijuana is a name that the government put on it to, you know, because marijuana is literally like Spanish, like the, you know what I mean? It's like, and even that is like attached to like why they wanted to attach it, you know, to what they, you know, because they wanted to put us against them, because they wanted more of Mexico, they wanted more of the property. You know what I mean? It's just all these things. Like, there's so much darkness that's happened underneath the surface of things. But anyway, but in the end, I was like, even though it felt like heaven, and we both were like, oh my God, it was like the whole thing, you know. I was like, oh, there's like, we get in the car, and he's like, well, that sucks. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, dude, I'm like, we never talked about it. I'm like, because at one point she said, well, you said you don't do drugs or drink. I'm like, we don't. And she's like, well, marijuana. I go, it's not a drug. I go, it's a healing plant. And I said, I use it medicinally, and I use it for my spirit work. And I'm like, no. I was like, that's your version of it. I won't, like, you know, I don't want to, that's what you believe, because you have drug addicts in your family and people who are dealing with stuff right now. I'm like, I love you and send them love and compassion for that healing right now. But I was like, you know, but that just told me, like, that's okay, because that's them and that's what works for them. But I was like, I don't want to be anywhere that would like call me a dirty hippie and get the fuck out. Because I said that to him. I go, you know what? I go, at our core, we're still probably would be dirty hippies to them, you know? And so it's just really interesting, but cool, you know, because we just learned so, and Alder was like, I was like, we need to drive around for a little while. I'm like, because he's like, do you want to go shopping, or do you need anything? And I was like, can we just drive around for a minute, or can we just go to the water and sit by the water for a minute? I'm like, because I just feel like, I just feel like there's like, I don't understand what just happened. But since then, so much has happened, and I started to think about it and all of the things, and I was like, oh my gosh, it just wasn't meant to be, you know? So don't tie and tether yourself to an old energy or feeling, or, you know what I mean? It's like, the reason why the snail came in is that some people are just not as quick to love. Snails can go faster if they need to, but if you ever watch them, they go really slow and they take their time. I just did a video of this snail that's trying to get through the grass, and I mean, he's going way slower than that even, right? So the snail's been coming up a lot, and I feel like Spirit's like, slow your roll, and remember that some people are quick to love, and some people are slow to love. And the people who are quick to love, sometimes you got to be a little concerned about that. They had me put this amethyst here too, because this love needs healing. Some people are a little too quick to love, and then they don't get the response that they want, or they let their fear or insecurities, you know, take over, and then they're like, meh, and then they go this way, and they're like, I don't want love, I'm gonna hang back here, like, I'll love you, but I'll love you from afar. And it's like, but you know, the healing energy is like, but I want to come hang out with you, you know. And they're like, no, but then like, what's gonna happen? They're gonna like fall and get hurt. So there's just a lot of, we can't push each other any further than we're all ready to go. But I feel like with you, you can, the love boundaries for yourself, you have no love boundaries. You cannot control another person's love boundary, but you can control yours. And you can say, you know, I feel like for some of you, like really setting these new moon intentions and like writing down. One thing I heard before, which is so true, is try not to write down what you don't want. Because I know a lot of people are like, I don't want this and I don't want that. And they're like, don't say what you don't want because you're still putting it into the equation. Just say, you know, if you're like, you know, I don't know, give me an analogy, Spirit. Well, they're saying like, think of it like this. If you're somebody that's like, I love living in really humid areas. I love swamps. I love that energy. I love alligators and the trees, and you're like, oh, I love it. But you're like, ah, oh, the fucking mosquitoes. It's like, that's like that's like their place. That's like where, you know what I mean? It's like, that's where they are, and they're everywhere. So it's like, then don't live by, you know, maybe live somewhere that's a little more arid or not as, you know, wet, right? Maybe be somewhere that, you know, because you can't run away from everything. Everywhere you go, there's going to be something. I remember when I was thinking, when I was in my early 20s and I knew I had to move away from home, and I just knew it. I tried. Even got a job downtown. You know, I thought, oh, if I can work and be in the city full time, drink some water, stay hydrated, that I would be able to, you know, do this thing. No, I just realized, I'm like, nope. And like, I need to find where my people are. I was like, this isn't my people. It was like, it went from either being at work around the water cooler, listening to people talk about shit or talk about things that they're going to do, which they never do. Like these blowhard people who bully people. Like, it was the same. It didn't matter whether I was in high school or I was at home or I was at work. It was like the environments. And then I realized, I'm like, I need to go to a place that like I fit in, that feels good to me. And I think what's happened, at least in America, I can see the shift, and I think it's happening everywhere on the planet, but at least I know in my country, I'm seeing it right now with our election year, that like people, we want this, like we want love, we want happiness, we want joy, we don't want hatred, we don't want to divide and conquer, we don't want that. You know, people are realizing, you know, before they thought they wanted that, or they thought that that would be better for us, but they're seeing like, no, that it's just dividing us further. No, that's just making this situation worse than it was before. And we don't want that. We want happiness and joy and playfulness and happiness, you know, like that's what we want. We don't want to feel repressed and judged and, you know, told what we can do and can't do, who we can and can't love. You know, and what we can and can't do with our bodies. It's our choice. The entire point of Earth is free will and learning and choices. You know, it's like if you want to kill somebody, that's your free will, but then you're going to prison. You know, because you're not allowed to go around and just kill people because you feel like it. You're not allowed to go around and attack people and bully people and push people to, you know, small children are taking their lives. And they're like, oh, it's the media, it's propaganda, it's not really happening, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I don't care what anybody says. I know firsthand I remember being a child and wanting to kill myself, trying to kill myself at 12 years old. So, you know, even back then, in the early 80s. So, I know that it's gotten 100 times worse because I see the social media. And all the little, not to mention there's stuff that's just in our face, not to mention all the underlying stuff, the subliminal, the subliminal stuff, which is why I tell people to use discernment when they're listening to, you know, these podcasts, or they're listening to Hertz or healing, you know, videos. Some of these healing videos on the surface, they have real beautiful, you know, pictures, they hired artists, they have the best technology. But subliminally in there, they're telling you to hate yourself. They're telling you to kill yourself. You think I'm crazy. I'm not. This is a war. It's a spiritual one. So we cannot, you know, my mother said, never mind the little things, right? she's just going about her life. This came up in reading 1, so if you're really drawn to reading 1, you may want to go and watch it, because that was a big thing about boundaries, and I spoke of a very big thing that I just went through myself that was, I didn't know I was going to share, but I did. I shared further. I shared it on the last pick a reading with the birds, but I went even deeper into it, and it's because even light workers right now are not, you know, pulling their weight, so to speak. And we're trying to help them pull out of it. And it's like, everyone's here to do what they're meant to do, but it's their free will. They can stay in the shadow as long as they want to, you know? And she's just going to ride in her golden carriage. And we were talking about this as the divine feminine and this is the divine masculine, right? They equally have money. They could have just as easily put the person in this imagery as like someone who is in tattered rags, you know, begging for money on the road, right? You know what I mean? Like, and they get splashed and they're like, oh man, one more thing, you know? But instead it's like, it's somebody who's dressed up to the nines, like, right? And they're like, oh, I never, like, right? Like, you know, it's like every time I hear that card, that's what I think of. Like, he's like, and she's like, oh, I'm having a wonderful carriage ride, you know, blah, blah. And who knows, maybe she's like Cinderella, right? And it's like her first carriage ride because she's never, you know. But what is he going to do? She's another royal, you know, all he can do is complain and say, whose golden carriage is that? Somebody, blah, blah, blah. He may not even see her. Or maybe he just sees a woman. I don't know. But we spoke about it in a much more derogatory way in the last reading. Oh, what was your card? It went back in. What was the other one? That's so, I guess it wasn't meant to, you already know what it is. That's so weird. I was just like, spirit. I guess it was just, maybe it was just for one person. But yeah, reading 1, we also spoke about this. Take small steps. And envision this as not just that you don't fit in, right? Like you're different from the crowd, but that this is the darkness marching away from you. And it's time for you to march into the light. I'm going to leave that one there because I feel like it's meant to be there. And, I had dropped some cards. Hold on. Okay, so we're going to tie this in even more. But it's interesting because, oh, that's why they wanted me to put the card there, right? Because you're like over here, you're trying to go more towards the planets, that you're more in alignment with this. These people are in your life, they're tethered like slaves. And that's basically what it is. You know, Stockholm Syndrome. You know, they talk about like these things where if people are brainwashed enough, they really do think of you as the enemy. And then people tell them that they're special and they're beautiful. Like Spirit wants you to say it about yourself, like that you're beautiful, you're special. Keep saying those things to yourself because you are. Because you are of more of like the elite, right? But like the elite is all of us. These people are just they're gonna walk right back into the shadow. And I feel like for some of you, you're like, but I put in so much time and effort. I tried so hard, blah, blah, blah. I had a moment yesterday that was a breakthrough moment with someone that was so beautiful. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I felt really blessed to be a part of it. And I feel like you're about to have that once you release and let this go. Let them walk back into the shadow. They will find their way or they won't. And you know, sometimes it can't be you, right? Like you can't be their teacher. Especially if it's like a friend or a family member or somebody who's competitive, because I feel like this is somebody, maybe a sister, that's very competitive with you. It feels like more than a sister. I feel like I feel like everybody competes with you because you're so amazing, you're so one of a kind, and you're so special. And, you know, but it's like the more you thought you were special or like you had this cool relationship with Spirit that you felt special, then you had other people who kept telling you that you weren't, but you put them there to make you stronger. And now Spirit's like, but you don't believe that, right? They're like, no, you don't, because you know. You're like, I believe in magic and miracles. I believe that I'm meant to be exactly where I'm supposed to be. And I'm really excited because they're allowing me to do something, but I'm going to do something else. And then we are going to pull a card from the Archetypes guidebook, but I want to do something for you guys special. I know it just happened, but drink more water. Do you notice the difference? You notice anything different? They had me take the curtains down, but interesting how this is still in the shadow. But there you are, because no matter where you go, you just shine bright. Nobody can douse your light. No threats, no fear injected. If people are threatening you, it's because they're threatened by you. So they're feeling attacked, and so they're attacking you. So this is a very strong feeling. And did you notice something else? You had a card come in here. They wanted you to see this, but I want to bring it up just a little bit closer. Did you see your feather there? This feather is so beautiful. I mean, we have a lot of cool birds around here, but I don't even know like what bird would leave this feather around here. Like I've never seen this, you know, but maybe it was just the pattern underneath there. But I feel like it's like you're so unique. So this is number 23, the Destroyer. And again, if you were drawn to reading 1, you may want to go back and watch that, because we talked about that. Because 23 is also the number 5, and 5s are about change and transformation. And your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to be the destroyer of the negative energy. Like, even if somebody's like, you know, what, I'd never, you'd be like, well, you are today. What movie was it where the guy's like, oh, they want you to see you coming out of there. It'll come to me. Where the guy said something like, you know, well, I never, blah, 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 because someone put them in their place that wasn't of their, you know, caliber, degree, or, you know, whatever they call it, like their stature, their wealth, and, you know, and they're like, how dare you, you know, and they're like, how dare you? They're like, how dare you, like, be this person and treat people this way? Like, you know, they're like, just because you have money doesn't mean you can be an ass and just go about the world and treat people that way. So I'm going to put my little trusty dusty glasses on, and I'm going to read from the book for you. And also, they had me pull some more cards to put in the community section, some more of the archetypes. So if you're drawn to any of the pictures, I'm going to put the pictures of the cards first, and then there'll be like the medicine from the book will be, you know, like, you know, image 2 or 3 or whatever. Okay, so it says the destroyer, the savage, the unexpected, the rejected. The destroyer, the final of the 3 archetypes in the trio of existence, has necessary yet painful work to do in the world. Yes, see, yes, that shadow. Culturally, we have an aversion to endings, and we hang on to the permanence as a signifier of success. Yet the destroyer pulls the rug out from underneath relationships, jobs, homes, and all forms of security. It's the part of us that wants things to end. Its painful orientation is to uncover our true purpose. The destroyer does not let us linger long in comforts, as it knows not much happens in that realm. With its piercing eyes, it seeks out stagnancy from a distance, and the rest, well, becomes history. In the old myths, this is the moment when heads begin to roll, when the grounds open up and castles crumble. Hold on for the ride. The destroyer has arrived. Oh, yeah, so you're about to have some, like, comeuppance. Like, so this is you saying, like, wow, I totally forgot that I am this badass mofo. But they're saying take small steps at a time, you know, because we don't want to let it run. We don't want our ego. We don't want to let, because that's what taking offense is. And this deck is all sweet and cute, right? But it's all about the ego. So it's like, you've got to remember that we accept all and reject none, because we are one. So this is a huge message, you know, for you. Like, it's okay to be here. That's awesome. And you can, you know, you don't have to, you can apologize to that person and be like, I'm so sorry, you know, 100 times. But some people, it doesn't matter how many times you apologize. If they're angry with you, if they're jealous of you, if they felt humiliated, embarrassed, you know, especially right now, the narcissism is like, I mean, we see it with what's happening in the election year in the United States. I mean, it's just, it's so cool, you know. It's interesting. I feel like the love-ins, all the love-ins from the 60s and the 70s are like now happening, but like amplified. It was because that was literally the age of Aquarius started in 1969. So here we are, you know, 50 plus years later, and now it's like, this is it, and there's nothing they can do about it. They can keep, you know, whining, complaining, they can keep threatening, they can keep doing all these things, but in the end, you know, the rest of us are going to see the humanity, and we're going to see through the bullshit, you know what I mean, and be like, stop, enough. And I feel like that's you. So when we are in light, we are swift and precise with our blows that redirect our life, right? Like, when we are in light, we know that we need to be in flow, and we accept the changes as they grow, right? Like, we're like, cool, yeah, this is just going to grow me here and this is going to grow me there. And they're like, okay, but you can't get to here without, like, you can't stay where you are and stay in your comfort zone and get to where you need to be. Change is always going to be uncomfortable at first, but then once you get in it, it's awesome. And then it's like, oh, wait, what was I, you know, have you ever noticed that it's the thing that you don't want to do is the thing you want to do the most. And then once you do it and then you get into it, you're like, why didn't I do this sooner, right? You're like, why did I sit there for fucking X amount of years? Why did I allow this person, you know, blah, 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 when this person loves me so much? And, you know, why did I allow that, you know, person to reject me or make fun of me or bully me when this group of people loves me just for who I am? So your mission, should you choose to accept it, is be on the love wagon, man. Just be on the love wagon. And, you know, and I feel like now it's like you're going to go into that shadow, but you're just going to kick ass and take names, man. It's going to be a different world. And I feel like there's some people that are in your life that are going to see a whole new version of you, but it's not. It's just who you actually are. You know what I mean? Do you hear me? Do you feel me? Like, that's just who you actually are. You're just coming back to self. You know, the destroyer to me is like Kali Ma. And if you're not familiar with Kali Ma, work with her and work with ISIS, okay? Interesting that this terrorist group names themselves after the most powerful love deity. And then after they did that, then you couldn't hashtag ISIS, you couldn't hashtag, you know, blah, blah, because you could be in, you know, some type of terrorist Taliban, you know what I mean, like kind of thing. Like even now I'm like, shit, did I just fucking flag my video? You know what I mean? Because it's like everything's like become so word sensitive. But it's like, really? Well, ISIS was around as a goddess deity for a long fucking time before a bunch of men who wanted to control, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, for all we know, all of them were in on it. Maybe it wasn't just them, you know? Maybe they were in on it with like our country too. It's like, who knows? Terrorism, as we know now, it doesn't have a face. You know, terrorism could be your 89-year-old little old lady neighbor. I just watched this old movie with Steve Martin and Queen Latifah. All hail the Queen. Dana Owens. Oh my gosh, you guys don't even know how much I love Queen Latifah. Like, I have to know her in this lifetime. I love her so much. But it was I forget what it's called. But anyway, but it's this funny movie where she's like, you know, comes into his life and his neighbor is Betty White, but she's super racist. And she's like, so like, she doesn't even think it's a big deal, like what she's saying, but she says the most horrific things that they all kind of look at each other. And, but it's funny when like Queen Latifah meets her, she's like, what? Like, what? Like, she's like looking around like, is she really talking to me like that? You know? And it's like, yep. Yeah. Because some people think that's okay, but we're at the end of that. And so they're saying, have hope and have faith, especially with this Lionsgate energy, because it's here to like illuminate not just us, but like the planet. Like, we are in a different sphere. We are literally in a different hemisphere right now of energy that's so love filled. And so why do you think I'm wearing, like today, I'm like wearing coral, turquoise, you know, onyx, and why can I never remember this stone? When I can't remember it, I feel like it's either I'm supposed to gift it or it's for someone else. Anyway, the magic. Look at my hands. Ooh, they're looking a little veiny. Because I work outside a lot. Anyway, but you know, it's like these turquoise and coral are love, man. They're like love stones. I'm like just bursting up the magic, like just bolstering up the magic of love, because that is really all we need right now. Okay, so I'm getting a little itch and I'm hearing to keep going. Okay, so when we are in shadow with the destroyer, we're self-destructive, we run on negativity, and we are unwilling to rebuild. So some of you may be caught in a depression, and I feel like that movie where she's like, snap out of it, right? Like, it's literally mind over matter. You control your thoughts. You control what your body is going through. You can say, I'm not depressed. I love my life. I love my life. I love my life. And love it into being. Right now, you need to love your life into being what you want it to be, what feels good. If it feels good, that's your purpose. If it doesn't feel good, it's not.
So to go deeper, I'll do a screenshot of this, but it says read Robert Rauschenberg's Erased de Kooning drawing. Oh, it sounds like it's art. So I'll just put it there for you to research. Also, it's on page 107, which is interesting because we're the 888 portal, and 1 and 7 is 8. And to go even deeper, it says, in old tales, the destroyer sometimes appears as a black dog. Other times, it takes the form of gods and goddesses such as Shiva, Kali, and Apophis, Apophis. Oh, Apophis. But right, I just said that exactly. It's the Kali's the destroyer. So I mean, in Shiva, I mean, so work with them, and then consider Picasso's statement, which is, in quotes, every act of creation is first of all an act of destruction. Somebody said this to me once, right? And I was like, what do you mean? They read this quote to me. And they said, right, well, when you take a piece of clay, you get it from the store, and it's like in a perfect, you know, they packaged it really nice, right? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, but you have to destroy it. Like, you have to knead it. You have to, like, really, you know, work with the clay until it's, you know, in the way that feels good to you so that you can use it to mold, because every sculptor is different. And I was like, wow, that's so profound. So it's like, do you get that analogy? So it's like, that's what they're trying to say. Like, you know, you have to get to, like, you know, you have to get to the bottom. You have to hit rock bottom before you can, like, kind of climb up. So I, like, you know, work with the Phoenix energy. That is really profound. That came up in one of the other readings too, one of the bird readings. I'll put a link below. If not, it was just the last reading, the pick a reading for the birds. Now, it was a podcast version, and not everybody digs that, but that was really for my high-level people who can just close their eyes and go into their mind. If you are more of a visual people, and I don't want to say high-level to be a dick, I'm saying, like, you don't need all of the bells and whistles. They're super fun and beautiful and cool, and I love it. Right? I love it. I love building this for you. I'm an artist, right? I have so much fun. Spirit and we have so much fun building this for you. But at the same time, I like the podcast too, because it's just a time where I'm, that almost the whole time that I'm doing the reading, my eyes are closed because I'm just working with the spirit medicine, or I'm reading from a book, or I'm just straight channeling. So it's nice. And in that way you can go into your own thoughts, and, you know, sometimes the visuals can be a little distracting. Not for everybody, you know, some people really enjoy them and some people like both, you know, so it's different for everybody. All right, so those are your messages. I don't know if we're going to do anything else. Let me see. Let me ask Spirit before I start shuffling, because I feel like that's it. Do we have any more messages for reading 2 right now, Spirit? Any messages? Any more cards? Any last thoughts? No. Whichever card disappeared, it's like, I don't even remember what it was now. But I feel like for some of you, like, maybe you need to go back and watch this again. Like, it's almost like, it's like I feel like Spirit was like leaving you the breadcrumbs and you're almost there, or you're like kind of getting it. I feel like some of you get it. You're like, I got it. Cool. Thank you. You know, you're like moving on. But for some of you, I feel like it might help you to watch it again, and maybe not right now. Maybe you need to watch it another time. I don't know. But if you're drawn to reading 1, go check it out. And those are your messages. All of my information is in the comments and the description box and all over this channel. And feel free to check out my other channels, Lula's Life and Baba's channel. My familiar, she's a Maine Coon cat. She's awesome. She's a tuxedo Maine Coon cat with yellow eyes. She's a badass mofo, and her name is Baba the Great. So check out her channel too, and be sure to subscribe, like, and share, because it really does help with the algorithms. We'll see you next time. Blessed be. I love you. Oh, bye. Welcome, reading 3. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. I got so carried away. Like, literally, I got so carried away that I almost forgot to put your card in. So I guess I'm not supposed to, because I had it in there. So here's your card, and we're going to get to it. But, wow, so many things were coming through. So welcome, reading 3. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Blessed Lionsgate portal. You know, I've been doing this for a few hours now, and it's just been such a magical, I mean, the energy that's been coming through, I'm almost tongue-tied right now, like, literally. Just being here and holding the energy for you has just been something quite extraordinary for me. So, so thank you for being here. Thank you for trusting me, and holding space for you, but also for yourself, and sharing your stories and all that good stuff. So I'm gonna jump right in, because welcome, fairies. I mean, I couldn't even
really get stable on this, because I redid this. I literally have been playing with your altar for like half an hour. I was like, when are we gonna do this? When's it gonna start, you know? And then I just realized, I was like, oh yeah, I'm like, the lighting, the lighting's changing because it's getting darker, because as the minutes and the seconds tick by, it's getting closer. Isis is here. She was down here, but like everything changed. Your feather has been kind of like all over the place, and it makes sense that this was the fairy, you know, pile that had this floaty, airy fairy feather. The other birds, I don't know exactly what they are, but this one is from a very good friend of mine, Rooster. So you may want to work with the rooster energy. Also, right before right when I called in your energy, I went outside to kind of ground, and this beautiful raven flew overhead. So your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to work with raven and rooster spirit medicine. Definitely after this reading, but you may want to, you know, ask them to work with you throughout the next year to the next Lionsgate portal. So I will put your feather there. And then this beauty, this old piece came into my orbit 2 summers ago. And I'm gonna put my glasses on and read it to you. But it came from this beautiful angel named Pat. This was in her house. I have her amazing boots, and I had her chaise, but it was meant to move on. Okay, so it says, peace. Pure as the angels who sing to her soul, ethereal notes of melodious strain, are the thoughts by this maiden held in control, courageously welded in unbroken chain, eternal peace. And I'll take a picture of this because maybe you guys can see it there, but I can't read that very small writing. I don't know if it's better to go this way, but I'll take a screenshot of it. Always check in the community section for cool stuff. Whoops. Yeah, like they don't even want me to. It just fell. So, I mean, this is saying peace, pure as the angels who sing to her soul. So they're like saying, this is who you are. You don't just crave peace because you're like high maintenance and like you need it quiet or whatever. It's like you guys are really powerful beings, powerful fairies. Like I feel that energy really strong. In fact, you know what? I almost feel like this wants to come in. Let me see where we want to put it. Maybe we'll put her over here, because I feel like you're over here in this like awesome glitter ball energy with the healing amethyst. You know, like I feel like that's who you are, but maybe you're giving too much to other people, and like your peace, like I want to turn her, but I kind of feel like they're like, no, it's like distorted for a reason, right? Because like you're not really at peace. Even this whole thing, I had to move for the lighting, and I was like, it feels weird and distorted, and I feel like it's like kind of your energy feels very like distorted. So this is your card, and the first card that we're pulling for you is from the Answer is Simple deck, and it's about the ego. So very interesting that it is number 19, listen to the music. 19, if you put it together, is 10. So I feel like you guys are right at this completion, you know, energy. And also, if you notice, this is our theme for this Lionsgate portal, okay? But it goes like this, actually. Accept all, reject none, we are one. Or you can say, we are one, accept all, reject none. And it's like, that's our little mantra as well. Oh, and also the bonus reading, if you watch the beginning, the bonus reading is actually going to be separate. So I will put a link to that. It'll say, you know, because it's a collective reading, it's really good. It's already been building itself. So anyway, I think this is powerful. Also, I don't want to cover up your little animals. Interesting, if you were drawn to reading 2, you may want to go check it out, because we talked about the needle going across the record. So I kind of feel like maybe that has some symbology for you. Oh wow, look at that, like right in the middle. I'm not gonna candy coat this, you guys. I feel sad. I feel sad. Interesting, when I started this, I felt so happy. I was like, oh, the fairies, I can't wait, because, you know, I got fairy blood, man. Like, I was like, of course, drink some water.
Also, my back has been killing me. Part of it, so this is a message for those of you who are either working too much or you're not working out enough and your body, did you just hear my bone crack? It's like, I know for me, I used to do sit-ups all the time. Like, it was just my thing. I love floor work. I love, I did gymnastics and cheerleading for a huge chunk of my childhood. So, I love stretching. I love that feeling. When yoga came into place, I was like, oh, this is what we did before cheerleading and gymnastics growing up, I didn't know this was yoga. I just thought it was stretching, So I feel like for you guys, this is a huge wake-up call to take care of yourself. Also, listen to the music. I'm hearing for some of you, the analogy Spirit gave me when I was asking, going into this, what you needed, kind of thing, or were there any messages that were, because it's just very open, messages from the Lionsgate portal, right? So it's just messages that you need to hear, right? And we just have them grouped off as reading 1, reading 2, reading 3, and then we're going to have a collective. I'm feeling this very deep strain on personality and being yourself. And one of my favorite things is be who you are. And I feel like you guys are really having a hard time doing that. Spirit showed me a person walking through a really busy city at a really busy time of day, and it feels like they're walking like uphill against like 30-mile-per-hour winds. Like, that's like the pain and suffering that looks like in their energy field to me. And then I see them like going into their little apartment, and Spirit's like, why are you living there? Like, really, your energy can't handle that. I don't know who this is for. It could be for all of you. It could be for one person, but I'm just hearing like, you guys, it's not just that you're fairies, you're just super fucking sensitive to energy, empaths, the whole gamut. I feel light workers here, magicians. I mean, hello, you have the raven. I mean, come on, that's some serious stuff that's going on. So I feel like they're trying to say, love is our theme, from the gateway. And interestingly enough, right before this happened, I use cannabis when I'm doing these, and they take me to different realms and different places, and it's super, super fun. But with you guys, I was almost kind of disappointed in a way, because I was in this super high vibration while I was putting this together, and I couldn't wait to like be with you. I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to be with you guys. I'm like, I love it. I'm like, I love you so much. And then they're like, I sat down, I was about to click start, and they're like, no. I'm like, no. They're like, smoke a little of this one, and like smidges, right? And so I sat down, I started to come together. I'm like, and I have these fairy bells, right? So I'm like, oh, yay, I'm gonna break up this energy, yay. A few seconds later, it's gone. I feel low again, I feel sad. So I'm like, I'm gonna bring in the big guns. That's a real good cleansing one, right? Sat with that. I'm like, it's a little better. Like, I feel like this is your energy. And I think a huge part, I believe and feel that a huge part of it is because you need to close yourself off. Especially if you're, somebody who's driving to work or on a train or walking through a city. If that's where your job is, you have to have headphones in. Like, music will save your life. Music has changed and saved my life in more ways than anything, any pill, any drug, any, you know what I mean? Like, anything. Any cocktail. I can't say cannabis because cannabis has done a lot for me. Cannabis saved my life too. But you know what I mean? It's like music and cannabis. One of my favorite things to do is to smoke cannabis on a sunny day or on a winter day when it's sunny, and lay like on my bed by a window and listen to music and just like fade away into like dreamland. And that's what I feel like we need from you. That is your magic, fairies. That is your magic. Not saying you have to do what I do, do what makes you feel good, in a healthy way. Yeah, it's like drinking and partying is super fun in the moment, but it feels really shitty the next day,
It's because it's not, especially for you. I mean, you have this, like, you, if you were drawn to this, it's like, this is, it's why you were drawn to this, because of this lightness, this fairy, this, you know, the other feathers are pretty and they're small, but they don't have the same kind of, like, or this one's like la 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 la, like very angelic, right? And this is what I feel like you guys are. You're like the part of the energy of the solar system. Don't hide. Like, you're part of the energy of the solar system that is soft and fluffy and sweet. So you have to protect your energy. We need your energy in the most, like, what's the word you're looking, what's the word? Grounded. Yes, grounded, being in nature, getting away from the bullshit. Like, I literally just heard stepping away from the bullshit, like stepping away from people, places, and things that steal your energy, steal your light, those vampires, right? You know, I love Isis. You know, I keep her with me and she protects me. But, you know, I still have vampires that come around, and we still have to, you know, because the thing is even the vampires are drawn to our light, right? Like, they want our light. That's the whole point. They want our light. Mine. And that's a very, very, I mean, think about this right now. Those zombie movies, they didn't talk, they were always like, but you can almost hear them going, mine, gimme, just like whiny baby, I want to eat your brains and your blood, cannibalism. Really? You know? But that's what they want. It's like they will do everything in their power to inject fear into us. I keep saying ingest, but it is. Because they want us to eat it like poison, and if we keep doing it, then we are. You know? So they're saying, no. Step out of the wood, step out of the blood, come into the light. This has been coming out through the whole reading, right? Like the Wizard of Oz. You know, be open. Listen to that dark semi going by, right? It's like, let the darkness flow by you, but you don't have to jump into it, right? I'm not going to go jump out in front of that semi. It's going to go by. Let the darkness go by. Let people do what they're going to do. Let people say what they're going to say. But your fairy light is worth more than nothing is worth your peace. Nothing on this planet is worth your peace. You belong, you deserve to be upright and center in your energy. Full face forward, no fear. Fear is a man-made construct. Man-made, not woman-made. Man-made. To control women, to control. I mean, the things that are happening right now, I won't even look at the news because I already know where this is going and I'm so excited, right? We spoke about this in, I think, reading 1, so you may be drawn to that, but, or maybe it was the beginning of this, or maybe it was the last readings. I don't know anymore. They all blend together, but no, seriously, it's like, my friend was like devastated because we really thought Hillary was supposed to win, and she wasn't. Because we had to see the fakery and the fuckery. We had to have a buffoon, you know, in that energy come out. He chose to be the jester, you know what I mean? He's like fucking entertainment, right? He was like here to look at the monkey, you know, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, it's like, where do you want your attention, right? Don't put your attention on that. Be in your house, play with your animals, listen to your music, step away from that. As we can see, the universe it's all working itself out. All they want from us is to like stay in a high vibration and wake up and be open and present to our future. You know, not just our present, but our future as well for this planet. This is part of the solar system, the ecosystem of the, like, you know, think about it like this, right? If things are just drifting off into space, they're just drifting off into, where are they going? Right? Into the solar system. Drink some water. And so are we, you know, they're probably like, hey, stop treating our solar system like a fucking, you know, sewer bin. There's a time and a place for everything, you know, and we don't get to be little whiny children and just take what we want when we want it, you know. So now the universe is stepping in. So this Lionsgate portal is no joke. 888s, it doesn't happen all the time. This is a gift. So I'm hearing from Spirit, like, you know, put your headphones on, stay away from that. And, you know, hold on, what'd you say? Hold on, they want me to, I'm looking at some cards, hold on. Do we want any cards for reading 3? This one in front of here.
You're not pulling it, so I'm just trying to make sure. Huh. I got so excited with my, there's a lot coming through. Well, it doesn't matter. I don't know. I don't feel like it's this one, though. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I can just feel it. I was going to ask my pendulum, but... Okay. These cards, like to stick together. I don't use them, and my hands are so small, so I have to be... I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to do it with my eyes closed, because that's always easier. Because sometimes I can take on you guys' energy. Oh, here we go. I can take on your energy. And if you do or don't want me to say something, it can be where I'm like, whoa, I'm like, I love you, but back down, my friends. This is your medicine. Take your medicine. It's like the kid that's like, I don't want to. And Spirit's like, but you got to take it. You signed on for this. Like, you signed on for this, fairy light workers. You signed on for this. Okay. It's almost like they're trying to say, my eyes are still closed, so I'm just letting my hands go the way. Whatever comes out, I feel like... Oh. Oh. Ooh, this eye was looking at me. The unseen. That I heard that's what you're afraid of. Some of you, you're afraid of the unseen. But Spirit's saying, instead of being afraid of it, what if you look at it like a diamond in the rough? Right? I had a feeling, I'm like, it's like I knew they were in there, but I didn't want to, sometimes my eye is like, yes, no, but it could be that it's like not in the order they want you. You know what I'm saying? We're telling a story here. We're telling a story here. Right? So it's like, so the unseen is 27, which is number 9, and the gem is 56, which is 11. Ugh. Both big angel numbers, right? So the unseen, and they're saying, you know, it's like the unseen is disturbing your peace, basically. And they're like, put your phone on your favorite music. I'm hearing like classical, things that don't have a lot of words, or something that's like, that you know for sure is an upbeat, you want to dance. You know what I mean? Something that like makes your soul feel alive, makes you feel super, super good. They're like, that's fine. Like, that's okay, that's it. They're like, that's fine, but it's like, there's no fear because there's hidden gems everywhere, right? Like, look at this. They had me bring this in. This is normally hanging up in my window, right? But it's like, it's all in the way you look at things, right? Like, but down here, it's like, I can bring it over here. Look at that. Look at how dark it looks. It doesn't even look sparkly or anything. Like, it doesn't even look sparkly or anything, right? But then it's like, whoo, look at that. And then bring it over here, right? And let it reflect light. So, your mission, should you choose to accept it, ooh, is to listen to the music and play your fairies. Okay, so I knew this was going to come in, but I didn't know how. Oh, do you see how it hit the piece? And they're showing, yes. So they're showing your piece is connected to the stars. Do you see that? Yes, they're saying yes. I was saying this reminds me of like the 888, right? So they're like, when you're feeling in doubt or you're feeling like you can't do things or whatever, they're like, they want you to remember your light. They want you to remember your light and your sparkle and that you're part of the universe. We are one, right? We are one. Accept all, reject none. Just love people for what they are. Don't try and change them, okay? You're not going to change people. The only people who can change somebody is themselves. But don't let somebody dull your sparkle. I mean, come on, look at you. You're beautiful. You're so special. And don't allow them to squash your peace. I feel like there was something else they wanted me to say. When I looked down, the ocean came up. And I feel like they want me to actually read this one. Interesting. They want me to show you both of these, and then I'm going to read them, but I'm going to do them one at a time, okay? So I'm going to show you both and then read them in order. So we have the ocean, which is, what is that? 35. Oh, which is the number 8. I love it. And what was this one? Oh, 10. And also look at 1 before 9, like we're almost there. I feel like they're saying like to you though, like we're here, you guys, like we're here right now, but like we're almost like even right now, every second that I'm doing this, we're getting closer. Can you feel it? It's almost like they left this to be the last one so that you guys would really, really, really feel that energy. You know, like you would feel that connection. You would feel that love, that embrace.
You know, that spirit is trying to tell you that you are fine, you are safe. I mean, look at this. They drew me to the apophyllite. You are seers and healers and magicians. I mean, it's like there's so much magic. Look at that. You just have to turn things a certain way sometimes so you can see it, right? You just have to look at it. They're like, it's all in the way you look at things. It's all in the way you look at things. It's all in the way you look at things. Look at that. It's all in the way you look at things. And they are going to keep saying that to you. Okay, so we've got the ocean. And look at, see that eye like looking at you? And I like moving these cards around because they, you know, it's like all in the way you look at things. The unseen. This is where you thrive, you guys. In the unseen. The feeling, the intuition. You know. And you know it, right? Like you know. Okay, so I'm going to put this down. The ocean. They said, yeah, that's okay. I'm like, I don't want to block, like, you know, this is your story. And we're going to get to the other things in a minute. And then on the other side, we have 29, which is number 11, the self, which feels like an ocean sometimes, right? Like, it just feels so confusing. I mean, this planet and the way things are right now, it's very confusing. It's very, you know, even if you're like the most connected person, even myself, like I got shook to my fucking core last week. And drink some water. And, you know, I had to throw out some Leo energy and just be like, hey, whoa, no, not invited, can't come in, sorry. You know, and it's hard when we have to set those boundaries, but you guys, you know, I'm really getting this vibe from spirit. You know, you have to set those boundaries, okay? Hold on. Let's see what page this is on. Okay, so the ocean is on page 133, if that means anything to anybody. That could be an angel number to work with too. If it spoke to you, look it up, you know, write it down so you remember. If not, no worries, let it fly by you. It's also the number 7. Okay, so the ocean, the unconscious, the depths, the incomprehensible. It says the power of the ocean is unmatched. To step into its salty waters is to step into the unknown. By its sheer volume, the ocean represents the unconscious, all that is beyond our understanding. We cannot live within the ocean. We cannot claim it, manage it, or own it. It rejects our every attempt to dominate nature. Yet, amid its overwhelming power, it calls to us, inspires us, and invigorates our life on land. It dissolves the quote-unquote little us into the quote-unquote big us. When the energy of the ocean is present, there is change stirring that is beyond any change you've known before. The ego must dissolve. The saline swells work on your very cells, your fibers, your deepest underlying beliefs. Like Aphrodite, we rise from the ocean's froth, a new being. Life is change. Let the wave crash. So when we are in light and connection to the ocean archetype, we are deeper than deep. We are our big dreams. We are discovery. We are constantly in awe of life. Like I said, when I started your reading and putting it together, I was like, oh my gosh, because that's who you guys are. But the fucking breath of the 3D existence of being human in this life, you guys have done this so many times and you're like, I can't fucking do it. You know what? If you don't know her already, your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to seek out Freckle the Fairy. She was on America's Got Talent. And I'm not going to say too much. I really want you to watch it. If Spirit calls me to, I will put a link. Always look in the comments and description box for little pearls of wisdom or links to other things. If you're not called to it, don't. Also, that's not me farting. That's me moving on my couch. I always tell people if I fart, you'll know. I own that shit. Or like I said, I would politely pause it. And now you'll never know when I pause. Right? Because we need laughter. We need joy. I don't remember what reading it was in, but in one or two, Spirit was like, have fun. Yeah, like we have to have fun.
We've let the depths and the dregs of the darkness tear us down, and now Spirit is like, rise above it, rise above it. Okay, that's why the bird magic came in to talk to you, the bird medicine, because they're telling you, like, rise above it. The rooster, what does the rooster do, man? He's the fucking he's the leader. He rules the roost. He looks after those women. He protects them with everything that he is. What are ravens but magics and like magics, right? And they're also the storytellers and the bringers of they when you hear them calling, like they warn people. They have so many. Oh my gosh, please work with Raven Spirit Medicine. I can't do them justice right now because I want to stay in this energy with you. So that is your mission, to work with those energies, because they will really help you and illuminate your path. I promise you. So when we are in that energy of your original energy, right, that's who you really are. When we are in that, it's like, it's easy to bring and shoot out rainbows out of our heart chakra, right? Because we recognize and own and understand that we are the change. Number 11, right? This comes down to, you know, number 11. Even 1, the lowest denominator, the self. And we have to take care of self, because if we don't take care of ourselves, then we cannot help other people, right? RuPaul, if you don't love yourself, how the hell are you going to love anybody else, right? So be in that energy. What is that? Be in it or not of it, or be of it, not in it. But you know what I mean by that analogy. Because right here, it's saying, like, we took away the all. And now it's like, reject none. They're like, you're going to reject none, but how come you're not doing that for you? Like, see how they put you at a higher elevation? Otherwise, you'd be in the ocean. You're on land. So you need to be grounded. But Freckle the Fairy, like, she was so amazing. And, you know, she was like, just, well, okay, so they're saying, like, because you don't know who did what or what happened. But basically, some of the judges liked her and some of the judges didn't. And then it was like, one of the judges just like really fought for her and was like, is this who you are? And she was like, yeah. And it was like, the way the audience loved her and accepted her, the way she cried like after was so beautiful. And she's like, this is who I am. Like, I want to bring love and happiness and peace to the world. Like, this is $1 million act. Like, I want people to come and see me in Vegas and like feel like they had an experience where like that they're going to take with them back into the world. She's like, this is my job. Like, I was meant to do this. And I was like, oh my God, I love her, you know? And it's not fucking easy to do, to like go in, you know, she went in costume, but that's how she really dresses in the world. And she takes a lot of flack for that. And, you know, and people, okay, so Spirit's saying, listen to this. People who make fun of people, bullies, people like that, don't have inner peace. When you're being yourself, it only intimidates others because they're not okay with themselves. But the more you are all the colors of the rainbow, whatever makes you happy, right? All the colors of the wind, hint, hint, you know? Go watch the video. It's really magical. And, you know, and there's more videos on her. So that's why I want you to follow the breadcrumbs, because she was really special and she did something really, really special for our people. You know, not just for the fairy folk, but for all people that are coming from love, that aren't slow to love. We're quick to love. We love first, right? And we love no matter what. Even if somebody harms us or whatever, we still love them because we know that whatever they did, you know, forced them to, or drove, not forced them, that was their inner demon that forced them, but something drove them to act on something so hellacious. And we are now opening this portal. I feel like this is your time now. And from now until the next Lionsgate portal, whenever you find this reading, they're timeless. But in real time, like, shine your light. Do something super special on the 888 portal. I mean, it's very rare that it happens like this. You know, the 8/8 portal happens every August 8th, but it's not every August 8th that it's 2024, which comes out to the number 8 as well. And we have a 888, and 8s are all about infinity and duality, as in the ocean, right? They're showing you that. So when we are in shadow with the ocean archetype, we are subsumed, drowned, polluted, and unpredictable, right? Because there's nothing more like off and unsettling, I guess, is somebody who is in pain. If they feel like they have nothing, people who feel like they have nothing to lose, have nothing like to gain, then they act erratically. And they're saying, don't allow that, you know, to come into your orbit, because
It has no place here. And think of like Glinda the Good Witch, you know, with the Wicked Witch of that last one. She's like, you know, be gone. You have no power here. Like you and I both know it. I have more power than you. Get out of here. Get out of Munchkin Land. You know, stop trying to intimidate this, you know, angel that just fell from the sky, right? Dorothy, like, she's like, get out of here. Because that was her job, was to make sure, because she knew, right? Like, because she knew she was coming. Not just that the house fell, but she knew, right? That's why she was there before the Wicked Witch was. So, you know, it's like, we are the light. We're always going to win because we were light that wanted to become darkness to understand what shadow and light. We wanted to understand what it was. We are one. We are all the same soul, the same person. We've just been broken up into gajillions of different energies. But the core source is love. And things have gotten out of hand. And so Spirit's like, nope. The year of the dragon is also the 888. There are no mistakes. There are no mistakes. So, to go deeper, Shakespeare's The Tempest, or Gericault's, I'm so sorry if this is not the right pronunciation, The Raft of Medusa. And I will take screenshots of these and I will put them in the community section. There's going to be a lot coming into the community section over the next, I don't know how long, but they probably the next several days, probably till the Lionsgate portal closes on the 12th. But, you know, right now we're going up into the pinnacle of it. And every second, can you feel it? Like, honestly, you guys, I didn't feel it that much, but now I really feel it. I mean, I felt it, obviously, because I'm reading. I mean, I'm, like, exhausted. I haven't eaten in almost 24 hours, like, you know what I mean? But I love it. Like, I love it, I love it, I love it. But what I'm saying is that, like, it's different. It's just getting different. It's like, I feel like I'm higher than high, you know? Like, even higher than my cannabis. So, I'm so glad this is for you guys, because I hope you're feeling this energy as well. So, for more, like, on each side of the information of the ocean, they give like a deeper teaching, and here is the first one. It says, study waves, touch their surface, get in the water. No matter where you live, each drop is part of the whole. The ocean is in every tear, right? So, like, even if you just get a bucket of water and put your feet in it, you know what I mean? Spirit had me put this shorts together. I don't know when I'll post it, but this guy was talking about that they've done scientific, you know, studies that just looking at water every day for like 20 minutes or something can like totally change your vibration, because we're made of mostly water. That's why a lot of us are drawn to live by the water, but it's so expensive to live by the water. You know, it's very interesting. So, there's just all these things that are coming together. I'm like, I don't know if you could see that. It's interesting to see it from this angle too, right? Like, see the card down there, but then the picture from the book. Okay, so yeah, right? Like, so study waves, and like, you don't even need to leave your home. You can look at your computer, but I would rather you go by the water, right? But they're just saying, like, you know, even if it's just like, look at a glass of water and bless it, you know. I bless all the water. Like, we have a water thing, and like, I bless it. When it goes in, I bless my water when I'm drinking it, you know, and thank it for nourishing my mind, body, and soul. Thanking everything, being in gratitude, all of those things make a huge difference. Okay, so the last teaching of the ocean archetype is, the ocean displays every emotion without shame. To witness its glassy, moonlit surface and its unforgiving storms is to know the full spectrum of the human experience. Yes. Okay. So, all right. So I said this the other one. I'm going to say it to you too. I just watched Titanic again. It was free on YouTube. I don't know when I watched it, in July or August. So they do change like which movies are free. But I have the thing where I don't have commercials, so for me it was like I just watched it straight through, and I was like seriously on, even though I've seen it so many times, I was like on pins and needles, and I swear I looked at it so differently of like who I am now, and just how disgusted I was by like the behavior and the hierarchy and all this, and like letting people die, and knowing, you know, just like letting people die for ignorance and ego. Oh my gosh, it was just like the Titanic was like one of the greatest like teachers of all time for humanity. So seriously, and if you don't know about the story, research it. I know it's the movie, but you know, even though that was like his version of what he thought happened, or he put a story behind it, it's a great story. It makes sense, you know what I mean, that it would go down like that, right? So I don't want to say too much, but watch the Titanic. I'm telling you, it will. The one with Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet. It's just, it's life-changing.
Okay, so the ocean, and now we are going to go to the self, which is 29, and like I said, number 11. And I love how like the rainbow is like shooting out of the heart chakra. Like it's so powerful. I feel like I'm trying to make sure that it gets upright, because I feel like that's what you guys need right now, is like to be in a very upright state. But what's going on? Maybe because they want you to be there. Oh wow, I didn't even realize it was upside down. Shut it. That's crazy. I feel like I want to put it here now. Okay. Do we want them together though? Yes. Okay. Because they're like, you are the ocean, you are the sky, you are the stars, right? Like you don't have any limits. Especially as light workers, we are limitless. We are limitless. You know, these are grouped, these archetypes are grouped in certain, you know, categories, and the one that we just did, the ocean, is from places, right? The places, so like in the places is like the heart, the cave, mountain, river, ocean, right? But they all have like, they're all like a metaphor for something deeper, right? Like the ocean is the subconscious. So this is number 29, the self, and this is from the actual archetype of the selves, the mother, the father, you know what I mean, the child, like that. So very interesting that it's the second to the last one of the self, and then the very last one is number 30, and it's the one. So this is, I feel like that's powerful, and that needed to be said. Okay, so for the self, the soul, the witness, the watcher, the self is the prism that allows the spectrum of our personalities to radiate. It does not judge, prohibit, suppress, or oppress any of its parts, as it lovingly knows that all aspects have a time and a place, and leads us to experience the full breadth of life's offerings. The self is the central abiding container, the awareness of the infinite universe of possibilities. When this card appears, it's a call to step back in, to witness your consciousness, to observe yourself navigating the world. To ask yourself, am I the stew or am I the chef? Right? In most situations, our ego draws us into the cauldron where we swirl, spin, and smolder in chaos. Yet the self is a graceful culinary dancer, watching, waiting, observing, as the spectrum of ingredients become the flavor of our life. Look in the mirror for 30 seconds or more. Now attempt to see the you behind the you. I will tell you, if you do this, I guarantee you, you will know what to do. In my darkest days, in my lowest despair, there was a moment where I just was drinking and eating and smoking myself to death, and I didn't give a shit, because I was like, I just can't do this anymore. And through the most fucked up, it was almost like I could not get wasted. Like no matter how much I drank, no matter how much weed I smoked, no matter what I ate, no matter, it was like yeah, I felt like shit, but like I could not get to the point where like I would hurt myself or do something crazy. And all I did was stare at myself in the mirror and scream and yell. I'm like, I love you, Isis. Like, right? And I felt these energies and these entities like urging me on to like get it out. They're like, get it out. Say what you need to say. Say what you need to say. And I said all of these things until I was like crying. And I was like, I don't want to live like this anymore. And they're like, say it. And I was like, I don't want to live like this anymore. And that was like the beginning of like the next year of me really letting go of the alcoholic I had become, just like so many things, so many forms of addiction. And I still, to this day, still struggle with one little one that I do believe I am very close to figuring out. But I've done it before, so I know I can do it again. But it's because I'm at this, I'm with you, you know? The darkness feels like it's tearing us down. But all you need is love. And you know what I heard before your reading? Waterloo. And now I don't know the words or the story behind it. I don't know if it's actually about Waterloo. I don't know. But, you know what I mean? But that I felt that kind of energy, like ABBA, like dancing and like, you know, dancing queen, like just like feeling alive and breathing life back into you.
You know, you're the only one that wanted to have like this cute little sparkly thing I have like underneath the light, you know, only you want it, you know, it's like, because that's part of you, right? Because you accept all. You love everybody, and there's nothing wrong with that. But there is something wrong with allowing people to take all of your energy and pushing you out of the way so that you get none, right? When you're the one rejecting none, but they reject you, no. Yourself, man. This is who you are. You're the ocean.
Okay, so let's see. When the archetype of the self is in light, it's witnessing, accepting new... Hold on.
You think I need new glasses?
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Okay, so when in light, we're witnessing, accepting new aspects of self, right? We're being the observer, and we're seeing that we're changing. We're allowing the changes to happen. We're not holding on to something that doesn't work for us, right? Because when in shadow, we're disjointed. That's exactly what I felt. What did I say when I started this? Like, I don't know if I said it to you guys or spirit, but I was like, I feel like scattered or disjointed. Like, I feel fractured. I felt really broken. And so this makes so much sense to me right now. Fatigued, diffused energy and purpose. Yeah, like, right, like, how can you give to anybody else? Like, you know, people are treating you like you're an ocean, and you're like, you know what though, I'm really just like a human, and you do have to reject some. You can love them. You can love them and send them compassion. You can have compassion for them, but you do not have to allow them to take up your space in your orbit. So to go deeper in this energy of the archetype self, watch Robert Bly read Kabir's poem, This Clay Jug. I'll admit, it didn't like move me like the first time. And then it was like, I think by like, I don't know how many times it would come up and I'm like, okay, I feel like I should read it again or watch it again. And every time I get something else from it. So I'll take screenshots of this and I'll put it in the community section, okay? Also, they wanted me to point out that it's on page 119, which is also 11. Angels, right? Like, you're angels. I don't know about the other, whatever, like, we did the readings and, you know, we're all light workers here. But I feel like if you found your way here, you're not just a fairy, like, because fairies come from the angel realm. Like, you're angels. So maybe you don't like align with the fairy energy, but like the messages here, it's like you come from the angel realm. And that can be any type of, I mean, there's so many different forms of angels in all capacities and dimensions, time and space. So, and across the universe, okay? So, on the other, what would you say, Spirit? Deeper knowing, okay? So deeper knowing of the self archetype. This says, if this card is perplexing for you, you are on the right track. It challenges us to expand our sense of identity beyond the little self, and the ego resists such movement, right? So, oh gosh, it's like everything amped up. I mean, it's Wednesday. But right, it's like, because the Lionsgate portal is going, you know, maybe that's somebody that I didn't. A lot of times when I hear the sirens, I'm always like, oh, I send them like a blessing. But that feels like somebody's getting pulled over and it's like a DUI or something. But it like needs to happen, right? Because maybe it's somebody who's like taking out children and it needs to stop. I'm telling you, the forces of light are coming in like gangbusters. The way this was all timed with Kamala, I mean, it was like he needed to announce his running mate first. He needed to do all that first. Like, he needed to do all that. His running mate needed to come out. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I mean? It's like everything is divine timing. If you really open your heart and your mind right now and your soul, you know, like, everything is good. So just lop that fucking fear out. But protect yourself. Music is like, and animals. I feel like music and animals. I keep getting that energy. And I'm hearing the food is good. Just don't get yourself. There's no shame in this. What I'm saying is that it's about being unhealthy. It's like, if you are at a larger size and you are super healthy, then good for you. But you have to remember that our hearts and our organs and, you know what I mean? Like, they're only meant to, you know, they can only take so much. And the way that the world is changing, You know how they were saying, we're not going to have enough food for everybody. We're not going to, they're like, it's going to be where like obesity won't be a thing because people will feel full. Like they won't feel, a lot of people eat a lot for different reasons. That's my, like, that's my addiction. That's been my hardest one. Right. So I've been a 00 to a 22 in women's sizes and American, you know, sizes. So I really understand that, but I do know that what I felt like in all of those different times, you know, I actually feel better when I have more weight on me if it's strength and it's muscle, you know what I mean, and fat, that's good fat, that's keeping me warm for the winter. That's natural. We're meant to gain extra weight, and then in the summer we're more active, we're outside, right? It's like, it's the circle of life. Our bodies go through cycles. That's why we do meditations and we do, you know, purgings of, you know, energy with you know, detox, you know, water and doing juice cleanses, you know what I mean? Like those things, we need to do those things because our body needs to clean it out. This one person had this great example of like how to eat and how to take care of your body. It was really profound and super cool. And I really felt exactly what they were doing. You know what I mean? Like I was like, oh my gosh, they were showing people, but they did it in a way that was so clever. They were like, this is, you eat this food, this is good for blah, blah, blah. You eat this food, it's good for blah, blah, blah. And then she's like, and then you bring them together for this kind of meal. And then she showed, and in 1 minute in a short, she educated people to show them to get in the habit of having balanced meals, so that your body can stay in balance. So it's not getting a sugar high and then a drop. It's not getting a lot of caffeine and then nothing. It's like, you know, going till you like drop. It's not supposed to be like that, right? Like our bodies aren't meant to do that. That's why people are living shorter lives. We can actually live much, much longer lives. I'm 52 and I tell you, there are times where I'm like, I think I'll only be this age, or I think I'll only be this age. And then there's times where I'm like, I think I'm going to be in the triple digits, man. And I'm going to be like totally fucking sharp as a tack and awake, and you know what I mean? But we'll see what happens. Or maybe I'll just come back, you know, in my next life here, and I'll live like to be 200 or 300 years old or something. I don't know. And I'll remember this life. I don't know. Who knows? But, you know, because it's going to be our next generations beyond us that are going to, you know, teach this and talk about this. You know, it's like Hillary wasn't supposed to win. It's like it was all supposed to go down this way. All of it. In every way, shape, and form, it was supposed to go down this way. You can see it. You can see it unfolding. You know, to the fact that I never even knew who Kamala's, you know, VP running mate was. I never even heard of the guy. I don't really follow politics the way I used to. And so I went and looked at some of his stuff, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, I love him to death. He's hilarious. And I don't agree with everything, but I love that his heart and his soul and his mind is really genuinely in the right place. And that is exactly what we need right now, you know, and it's about acceptance of others. And we don't have to like each other to love each other. But we also don't need to tear each other down, right? Look at this. Look at reject none. See how it's going? They're like, you're getting to the where you're like, yeah, I get it, right? So they're saying, like, you know, you don't need to concern yourself about like the hows, the whys, the whens, the, you know, like I feel like some of you are. They're like, just focus on you. That is literally your only job, is to focus on yourself. Look at that. It took me a minute, but I had the patience. Same with you. Have patience with yourself and forgive yourself if you're not where you thought you'd be. The other day, I was like ramming myself so hard because I'm like, what kind of fucking leader am I? What kind of spiritual leader? Because they've been having me the hashtag spiritual leader, and I'm like, what? It's like came into my orbit, and I'm like, well, what? They're like, you are. They're like, you need to own it. Like, that's part of what you do. Like, that's who you are, you know? And so it's same for me, right? Sometimes it's hard to hear certain things. It's hard to, you know, accept like that we are these beautiful creatures and that we are from a different place. But you know it. You've known it in your heart. You've known it in your soul. You've always known that you're different, and it's okay. You're supposed to be. You're here to lead the way for others. What is that? I can't see. I feel like they want me to. Okay, so when I looked, it was 256:34. So 2 is about duality, 56 is 11, angel, and then 34 is 7. So 7 keeps coming up. That's interesting. Oh, because today's the 7th. And today it came out to the number 5, 23. It came out to the number 5, right? 8, 7, 2024. The lowest denominator came to 5, and it's about change and transformation. And they're like, this is it. This is it. This is it. So the last teaching is, it's no surprise that 2 central mantras in the yoga tradition concern themselves with the self-experiment, with Soham, which in quotes says, I am that, and Sat Nam, in quotes, which is true identity, right? So Ham Sat Nam. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Let me know, you guys. Right? So that is, I mean, so many people I know either got into yoga or started teaching yoga, and they're like, it's almost like I tried to help them with their spirituality, but they like weren't like really getting it, and like, or they weren't like seeing it from like mine, you know, because of who I was and whatever. And I think it was just too hard for people to really understand, even though that they knew I was different and they knew my heart was good and all that. I think it's just still hard for some people to accept that like I'm a real earth angel, especially if they knew me. And it's like, well, if you knew me, most likely you are too. Or you're a light worker of some kind, or you're, you know, a shadow worker that's here to, you know, help expose, you know, us to that, so that we can have a deeper learning, to go deeper into our conscious and subconscious, right? My dreams lately, I mean, I call it subconscious city because I know when I'm there, certain people, like last night I had a dream. I can't believe they're having me share this with you, but last night I had this dream with an old friend of mine, and like she was coming towards me in such a cool way, speaking of yoga. And it was, we had this really cool moment, and it was just like really awesome. And I was like, man, I really hope that happens someday, because I know at their core that they were like this magical being. But we just, you know, certain things were clashing because we were, you know, sometimes when you're both big mirrors like that, it's like, just not working until like, you know, you can figure things out and then come back and be like, oh, I love you. Yeah, I love me. I love myself. Oh, I love myself too. We can love each other. Yay. Right. But it's like, it's kind of got to be this like little hand puppet thing for a minute. But no, in my dream last night, so it was that, and then I was at a rally, and then I realized what was happening, and I saw, and then Trump cut me off. I was walking towards all these people that were rallying. He cut me off, and I didn't realize it was him until this woman was kind of standing up on this thing, and she was wearing like a kind of a tight tank top. It was like summer or something, but it was inside a building, and he made some really like salacious comment about her breasts or looking good or something, and I'm like, what did you just say? I'm like, did you really genuinely? And he turned around and looked at me, and I go, you are vile. And I just like, it was weird, it was so bizarre, but it was so real. And then I don't know if I grabbed somebody's megaphone or microphone or something, and I said, hey, you guys, I'm like, look who's here. And I go, he just said blah blah blah, and like a lot of people witnessed it, and it was just this really, it was like the women came in and like they like got him out of there. And I realized, I'm like, that's what's happening, man. It's like they shall rise. So the divine feminine is your friend right now. Work with the divine feminine energy. She is here. The whole point of this gateway right now, you know, is Sirius is the biggest star, right? And the sun is having these solar flares. I was saying, like, and we're seeing all these, like, it's like all these magical things that are happening in the sky. It's just been like this illumination of spirit, like fireworks, like showing us that they were coming. They're like, we're here, baby, and we're here, and we're just gonna get stronger. And I've been feeling it. We've all been feeling it. And every time the shadow comes in, we just work with it, and we work with it, and we work with it, and we'll just keep working with it until, you know, until we don't need it anymore, until we work through that. So just focus on the love, focus, you know, it's interesting because every other reading they had me like pull like everything out, and they even had me wear like all this white. I almost feel like I'm like one of those green screen things, you know, because it was really about you, like focusing on you, you know. And so a little while ago I was like, oh damn it, I forgot to, and they're like, no, because they wanted you to see this, right? The softer side, right? It's this energy that's coming in, that's peaceful, that's colorful, that it's not just the darkness, it's not just the shadow, you know. People can be whatever they want to be. They can let their freak flag fly and let their sparkle, you know. No one's going to dull our sparkle anymore. We have a whole new world, a whole new world. I love it. Look at that. Look at that. See how they had me pick it up? Because they want you to believe in the magic and miracles. And if you have never seen it, please do yourself a favor and watch Miracle on 34th Street. Have a Christmas in August. I had a Christmas in July. I watched so many Christmas movies, and it really helped keep my vibration high. You know, especially Hallmark. I love, you know, watching things that keep me on a high vibration. And so do the same for yourself. And so I'm hearing from Spirit, it really is a whole new world. But remember, if you remember, that the little girl, it's like the whole point is that for Santa Claus to make her believe in miracles and make her believe in magic. right? The whole movie. And at the end, remember, she just keeps saying, I believe, I believe, I believe. And, you know, you have to believe. And when it's getting, like, I had something earlier and I was just feeling this really dark negative energy, and I was like, I love my life, I love my life. I was like, la 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 la. And I get silly and I get goofy and I dance with Bubba and I give her kisses, my cat. I go outside, I play, and you know what happens? Dragonflies come at me, deer show up. You know what I mean? Because they feel it and they want that energy. This is not an accident. Oh, look at that. Don't let them diminish your flame. I'm going to take that as a sign that we're done, but I don't know where my pendulum went, but I'm going to use Isis. Actually, I could keep Isis on. I'm going to use your fairy energy. Well, no. Oh, no, I would never. I would never steal your energy. I'm going to use our collective fairy energy to ask your higher selves. If there are any more messages, are there any more messages for reading 3 at this time? Would you like us to pull any more cards at this time, Spirit? Any more messages? Nope, that's it. So stay tuned for the bonus reading. It's going to be a collective reading. I don't know exactly when they're going to have me do it. I don't think they're going to have me do it after this because I'm really tired and I can feel that my body needs to rest and relax and eat and all that good stuff. But look out for it. And I don't know, I'm assuming they're gonna have me put this out before that, but I don't know. At this point, you know more than I do. So anyway, just look out for it. I'm definitely gonna do a collective reading for the tribe. I already pulled cards for it. Have been pulling cards for it through this whole thing, and I can see that it's starting to build itself. So I'm really excited to see what happens. So it's either gonna happen later tonight after I eat, or it's gonna happen tomorrow because I have some surprises that are happening for tomorrow for the Lionsgate portal. But until then, take good care of yourselves and each other. All of my information is in the comment section and the description box if you would like to contribute. It is never, ever, ever expected, but it is always, always, always appreciated. And if you'd like to work with me, you can email me, and I put all my rates there. I hadn't done that in a long time, but I put them there so that, you know, it's very transparent. And if it's something you can do, or you feel like you're called to work with me one-on-one, then reach out. If not, then we'll see you at the next reading. Okay? I love you so much. Bye. Blessed Lionsgate. I want to say Lionsgate, Dragonsgate portal. Blessed 888 energy. And as the number shows, infinity, it's abundance, and it's all about infinite abundance, infinite abundance, infinite abundance, infinite abundance, infinite healing, infinite healing, infinite healing, infinite love, infinite love, infinite love, infinite love. Until next time, I love you. As above, so below. I'll see you next time. Blessed be. Oh, bye.